You can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
And their areas get smaller and smaller and smaller. The areas of feudalism. That's what they are, and they should be heckled. Little correction, Squirrel. Yesterday I had said about the counties that Kamala Harris won 421. I was wrong. That was Hillary Clinton. Kamala Harris only won 376 counties out of 3,143. Less than 12% of the counties are Democrats, communist. We are the majority. Start acting like it after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. Clouds, cooler, couple of showers, and a high near 70 today. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. One person hospitalized after a large fire broke out at a high-rise on Chicago's north side this morning. Chicago Fire says one person may have jumped from that burning floor and was transported to Illinois Masonic Hospital in critical condition. 5 were critically hurt after 2 boats collided on Lake Michigan near the Loop late Thursday night. The Coast Guard says it happened around 11:45 and may have involved as many as 14 people. The death toll is expected to rise near 600 in Venezuela. In the aftermath of 2 international earthquakes, thousands are injured, hundreds others trapped. UN efforts to evacuate stranded ships from the Strait of Hormuz are on hold after a vessel was struck by the Iranian military. The Cubs battle Milwaukee tonight while the White Sox face the Royals. The news service of Team Hochberg. They've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners with the best rates and service. Let Team Hochberg help you by visiting 56david.com or call 855-563-2843. 56david.com, Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, and MLS 613114. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Lauren Simonetti, and this is the Fox Business Report.
A choppy trading session with the major averages ending lower as tech shares extend their recent slump, with chip makers leading the charge after surging of late. Investors continue to rotate out of artificial intelligence momentum names and into lagging sectors like healthcare, which gained today. Tech and industrials were the worst performers. Investors also reacting to a report saying that OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, might hold off on its stock launch until next year. The Magnificent 7 big cap tech stocks were mixed for the day, but down sharply for the week, with Apple stock up over 3% after Thursday's brutal sell-off. The Dow winners, Microsoft, IBM, and United Health. The Dow decliners, Caterpillar, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan Chase. The Dow down 45 points, the NASDAQ lower by 61, S&P 500 down 3. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows and doors, to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio with your host, Roger Piper. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about home improvement. Listen tomorrow at noon for Home Answers, right here on AM 560 The Answer. Sponsored in part by Level 10 Coatings and by JeffBuysYourHouse.com.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven. You can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted. It works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE. 844-43-BIBLE.
She gardens, cooks, and sews. She's running for town council, and she was doing it all in pain she couldn't ignore anymore.
I had 3 muscle tears in my right arm and 1 in my left arm. I'm a quilter, and I could not hold the material up in the air because I couldn't lift my arms above my shoulders without severe pain.
Surgery? Not this busy lady. Susan booked a free consultation with QC Kinetics. Her customized regenerative treatment plan finally calmed the pain in her shoulders.
I am able to now go back to quilting 100%, and every once in a while I think, oh wait, that didn't even hurt.
The QC Kinetics treatments had given her shoulders new life.
It was like a new shoulder had been put in. It's your own body healing your body. No foreign anything.
The future of joint pain relief. It's QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. Schedule your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Outbound Edens, no delays, 50 minutes going in on the Kennedy outbound. Give yourself 1 hour. Downtown to O'Hare Express Stop and Go Division to Keeler. Outbound Eisenhower, 1 hour and 5. Post Office to 390. Stevenson, 50 minutes out to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. 28 minutes outbound Ryan. And we're not seeing any delays on I-57 at this time. But the outbound Ford, that's tight 130th to Bobby and Woods. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State both directions. We're seeing stop and go traffic westbound Jane Addams, eastbound Reagan, and southbound 355, 8094, eastbound Kennedy Avenue, a crash. This report is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 61. On Saturday, expect a pleasant day with intervals of clouds and sunshine reaching a high of 77. Saturday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 63. Sunday will start with a chance of a thunderstorm in spots in the morning, then turning humid with clouds breaking for some sun and a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white,
I understand you're being inundated.
And when the band plays,
but this is always the way. Tyranny of the minority. As they implement feudalism and failure, and they pretend it's gaining steam. It isn't. Never forget, with all the hype, only 376 counties out of 3,143. That's it. That's who voted for the office. Whore.
You know what also excites me? Among the many things, I'm excited about electric school buses. I love electric school buses. I just love them for so many reasons. Maybe because I went to school on a school bus. Hey, raise your hand if you went to school on a school bus, right?
Now that's fracking embarrassing, isn't it, Squirrel? I mean, it's embarrassing enough that her whole resume was the back of Willie Brown's Riviera. Her entire resume was political clout and sleeping her way to the top, which got you to think wasn't far off from Biden. Although he didn't sleep his way to the top, perhaps. He was just an asset for labor extortion mafia unions that got him elected since 72. And as you think back to what we face in these inner city ghettos, it's always the same problems. The virtue of who, exactly?
NEA, we have to win all the things, all the things, all the things. Our colleagues are depending on us to win all the things. Keep going, NEA. To preserve our democracy, we must win all the things. Delegates, we won't go back. We will keep going forward because we are the NEA. We are the NEA. We are the NEA.
What? Embarrassing. Embarrassing. She's a big fat slob of a broad. Sweat dripping down the rolls on her neck. I love these Democrats who have love handles on their neck. She's just another entitled fraud, producing failure, mayhem, and nonsense. And it is to be heckled at each and every turn, every area they govern. Complete financial shambles, but moreover, the epitome of failure. Not just political, the life that they live is that of failure.
And as you saw with the communists elected in New York City recently, they're communists, they're not social democrats. They want to completely destroy the traditional American way of life. Communism is very easy to sell. It destroys everything, but it's very easy. I'll be honest, I think I'd be the greatest communist in history. I'd give free rent. Ladies and gentlemen, from now on, you don't have to pay any rent. From now on, anybody wants a house, don't worry about it. Just pick the house you want. Everybody gets free.
You hear the people laughing? And that's who gets elected. These are children that never worked in their fracking life. They're kids. They're do-nothing, good-for-nothing punks.
We saw today the Supreme Court make a decision that is putting so many people's lives in jeopardy. And I just came back from a rally with 1199 as I stood alongside a number of Haitian New Yorkers who are concerned about what this means for their status in our...
Haitian New Yorkers, that's a funny thing, huh? Well, what is it? Hey, stupid. What is it, Haitian New Yorkers? Does that mean they're here legally, or does that mean they're here illegally? Any come, doesn't really matter. When you take a real good look at who makes up the virtuous alien.
A new analysis by the Center for Immigration Studies finds that immigrant-headed households, both legal and illegal, are significantly more likely than U.S.-born households to receive means-tested anti-poverty benefits, also known as welfare.
What? Turns out they're about 8 times more likely. 8 times more likely. So how do you think these cannot read, cannot get decent lives because they don't want to put in the actual effort, which is why they come here illegally in the first place? Sorry, but it is. And you're talking big money. And you're talking 50 million of them. 50 million!
1 in 7 people living in the United States right now was born in another country. That's 50.2 million immigrants, the highest number ever recorded, making
50 million! And the highest number ever recorded and the largest percent of air-sucking welfare roaches this country has.
53% of households headed by immigrants, naturalized citizens, legal residents, and illegal immigrants used one or more major welfare programs.
That isn't me saying it. This is a, I don't even want to call it Democrat. This is a communist outlet. Reading statistics, understanding what we are facing. And it's not just this country. This is a worldwide movement. We've been talking about it for how long, Squirrel?
In June, hundreds of communists will gather in Italy, joined by thousands participating online, to found a new revolutionary communist international to fight for socialist revolution across the globe. Join us. Capitalism faces its deepest ever crisis. Israel is conducting a brutal massacre of the people of Gaza with the full backing of Western imperialism. War, poverty, and precarity are facts of life for...
That guy could be the senator from New York, the governor in New Jersey, or anywhere else they buy this bull dung. But never forget, it's an infinitesimal number of counties. Infinitesimal. Less than 12% of the counties in this country are dumb enough, desperate enough, and low class enough to be American Democrats.
Free food, everything is free from this point forward. Everyone's going to vote for me. The problem is, after 2 or 3 years, the country is a disaster area. The country fails. They always do. It always does. So
think of our once great city. Think of our once great business metropolis, now a ghost town. Welfare, defecation in the streets, homeless degenerate crackheads singing songs on the L. Take a look at it. That's what it is like in a communist area. Stop pretending that communism is going to be here. It is here. We've been floating it for decades. It's time for us to take it apart. And you start offensively. Get your back off the ropes. You know what, honey bunny? Let's get Landmark Legal Foundation on the line. I want to sue the government. We'll get a group of listeners. I don't want that frickin' scam. Social Security, give me my money back, I'm out. And you start that simple. And when it comes to taxes, they're not taxing people to give money away. This is all debt, which is why they stay on the offensive. Here's a scumbag failure, the likes of which only a few Democrat states have ever seen. Gavin Newsom. He has a trust fund, baby. His father was the tax cheat lawyer for John Paul Getty, the number 2 richest, most powerful oil man underneath the Rockefellers. And listen to what he's going to do. He's going to tax his family.
It's time for a national billionaires tax and a new social contract.
That's not a social contract. That's theft. But that's what it is. Like in Chicago or New York or New Jersey or wherever these scumbags are. They steal in the name of degenerate scum.
Think about this. Just 10% of people, 10% of people in this country own 2/3 of the wealth.
That means 90% of us suck at making money. What do you think of that? Everybody wants to point the finger at everybody else. You know what you learn when you listen to them real close? The only way you could be a Democrat is that you hate yourself. And that doesn't have anything to do with income. I'm going to play for you 2 self-loathing, wretched human beings who are millionaires in this country. And this is the only country they could be because they are talentless, ugly, repulsive-looking freaks.
Here's what Larry David said when he was asked about the UFC event on the White House lawn earlier this month that kicked off the 250th celebration. Watch.
It was a travesty, yeah. What else can you say about it? It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed to be an American, yeah.
Now, he's worth $400 or $500 million. Worth $400 or $500 million. What country could that fish-faced lemonhead, ugly, talentless, and writing fracking jokes and telling stories, that's Hans Christian Andersen. That's all he is. And Hans Christian Andersen was twice as good looking as this ugly fish face. What country could that moron be worth $400 million if he were born? Could he be worth that if he was born in South Africa? Could he be worth that if he was born in Korea, in China, in England? Where could this moron be worth $400 million? Not to mention, I don't know what Joy Behar is good for. I really don't, except testing Viagra and wood.
I'm very good friends with Larry David, and so I'm not going to. I think he's right in many ways. I mean, you listen to Trump. We used to have friends around the world. Now we don't have them anymore. So what is he talking about?
Yeah, but you know, I was thinking about this, and there's some people that are going to take issue with.
Shut up, whore! Shut up! Every one of you scumbags. You weren't embarrassed when you had Joe Biden soiling his fracking trousers, walking around like he got kicked in the head by a horse.
And Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it right, Shanga Kawawa.
Not embarrassed? You're not embarrassed when you put forward the literal side broad, office whore of the San Francisco mayor. You're not nervous. You weren't embarrassed. That's.
He's a rogue, all right, notorious for his flamboyant lifestyle. Flashy clothes, fancy parties, fine women,
Are you his daughter?
and
You can't
fast
make that
cars.
up. Don Rickles, Larry David couldn't make that up. That's some funny dung right there. And you weren't embarrassed when you had the economic advisors, not like Larry Summers, who were stooping children with Epstein for 40 years. You weren't embarrassed when Reid Hoffman, that jello in a baggie, Epstein's best friend, was financing all your Democrat fiefdoms and all the crooks known as Democrats. You weren't embarrassed at that? How about this? You embarrassed at this?
Like you said, they print the dollars. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right?
Are you
Since they sell
embarrassed?
bonds and people buy
Are you
them.
embarrassed yet? You embarrassed, you fricking idiots? Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed that since Barack Obama was late on his car payment when he was stooping men on the west side of Chicago, when he was involved in crooked land deals, are you embarrassed now after the $30 trillion added to the debt since that moron got out from underneath the thumb of some First Ward gangsters and wannabes? Are you embarrassed that the people that support him today, listen to these idiots?
Been Obama's greatest accomplishment.
Right now, it's, I can't remember. It was just a lot.
I can't think, man. You got me off guard. Somebody help me out.
I'm going to have to say just being there.
Being black.
Staying black. Huh?
You embarrassed yet? Are you embarrassed at the outcome of your ghettos? You're embarrassed to be American? Well, now's the time to get out. Pick a spot. Don't go to Africa. All 54 countries, they still have slavery. Don't go there. Don't go to the Middle East. They got slavery there, too. Don't go to Europe. You might get hit on the head by an Islamo-Nazi yelling Aloha snack bar, and he'll get off, just like in Chicago, New York, New Jersey. What's embarrassing about this country is everywhere Democrats are in charge.
Governor, on the Tollway Board's proposal last week, that it would raise tolls, not just for drivers, but commercial rates would go up 30%. So companies like this are going to pay a lot more if this goes through to move materials. What can your office do to perhaps, or what might you have in mind to kind of reduce that burden that these higher tolls could kick in right when that gas tax inflator kicks back in?
Well, I want to be clear that many of the trucks, many of the cars that are traveling on our tollways are actually from out of state and going to other states. So they're actually not Illinois companies and not Illinois individuals. And so that's one.
57 taxes, that fat pig who never had a job, can't do a push-up or a jumping jack, never worked and is on hours of FBI tape with a governor that went to prison as they laugh at Chicagoans. Are you embarrassed? Or are you too low character to be embarrassed? Are you dumb enough to be a Democrat? 312-642-5600.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago businesses. Your phone, internet, and IT should work well 24/7. But when it doesn't, who are you calling? At Overseas Help Desk? If you want clear, reliable local experts, consider Access One. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One has you covered. Access One is Chicago-owned, Chicago-run, and serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore and everywhere in between. We're rated top 5% in customer satisfaction, a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business, and trusted by law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. Let's talk about making your IT work well. Call 800-654-1555 or visit AccessOneInc.com. That's AccessOneInc.com. Tech made personal, locally.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus.
I'm your biggest fan.
Oh,
Well, thanks.
The way you talk about employee-free, hassless showrooms, free next-day delivery, and prices that are way low. I mean, nobody does it better.
I don't know what to say.
Say that I can get a free box spring.
Okay. Now through Monday, at Hassellus, get a free box spring with the purchase of any Sealy Posturepedic or Beautyrest mattress.
I have that tattooed on my...
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at hassellus.com.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878. AM 560, The Answer.
Across the country, the American Nazis. You see, there's no such thing as Democrat Socialists of America. These are American Nazis. In the same way the Nazis are the National Socialist Worker Party. That's what this enclave of ugly people. You notice how all these broads, where are your lips? Do you have one broad that has an upper lip in all of your Democrat Socialist network area here?
The latest primary results appear to show a rising support for democratic socialism in the country. That includes the election of politicians like New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani.
You could tell he's from the West Coast. Zohran Mamdani. There's just another down with the struggle propagandist. Now let's go back to the East Side.
The latest primary results appear to show a rising support for democratic socialism in this country.
Boy, that sounds a lot like it did way on the West Coast, didn't it?
The latest primary results appear to show a rising support for democratic socialism in the country.
Shut your ass up! Too stupid to get a job on a soap opera that you are. Greg and LaGrange.
Hey, Shaun. How you doing?
Wonderful.
I have to take issue with you on a couple points.
All right.
The first point is, I think you're doing a disservice, and I mean that in the most compassionate way with you.
Loving.
About the enemy or the opponent or the Undermine America party that we're facing this time around. It's completely different than Kamala Harris. It's completely different than Joe Biden.
It's not different than Barack Obama. It's not different at all.
It's an outgrowth of that. It's a different opponent. It's like going into a boxing ring and trying to adjust between you're Ali and you're trying to figure. There's a difference between Frazier and George Foreman. You have a different opponent here. You have a more slick.
And here's what you're missing.
Committed.
Here's what you're missing. You're missing it. They are already destroying their narrative by the quality of life in their ghettos. Look at your own. Look at Chicago. It's a fracking joke. Look at New York. It's a joke. Look at California. Defecating in the streets, corruption in every borough that's a Democrat county. It's the counties. And all you have to do is segregate the counties, cut them off from the money, and you attack the system that is already socialist. You're afraid of what's already here. The guy's already in the house. Now kick his ass and throw him through the fracking window. And you don't have to be nice anymore. Here, they're doing it for you. I'm gonna play this for you so you understand what I mean.
A huge relief for millions of New York City residents living in rent-regulated apartments. No rent hike for the next year, or possibly two, depending on your lease. It is also another big win this week for Mayor Mamdani, who followed through on a major campaign promise. Eyewitness News reporter Stefan Kim was there for tonight's big vote.
The motion passes.
For the first time in its history, New York's Rent Guidelines Board is freezing rents for 2-year leases for the city's 1 million rent-regulated apartments. The board also freezing 1-year leases, something it has done only 3 times before.
0%.
Now, just hang on. I'm going to let you talk. You're supposed to be nervous by this. This is beautiful. I wish they would have done it faster. Hold on.
The unprecedented 7-1 vote unleashing unbridled joy and relief from the tenants who packed the board vote tonight.
This is no longer just a city that is a playground for the rich. This is a city for the working people who make it run, and we are making it run for us. And I am so overjoyed that we're finally here. have run this city, and this is like a new era of tenant power. We have a rent-freeze mayor. Hundreds of people came out and testified, thousands online. Like, landlords' days are over. Tenants are in power now, and it feels amazing.
Landlords who say they are struggling with rising costs like fuel and insurance, though, lambasting the decision.
The whole process is such a farce.
We're going to have to cut back. We'll have to lay off people.
That's why it's great. Right there. You don't understand. The hand has dropped. Throw the right hand as they have to sell their properties at pennies on the dollar like the office buildings in Chicago. That's the best
Shaun,
thing that could happen to that city. The best thing. They've been operating on false value. Now it's in the toilet.
One final point. I want to know what your stance is about whether or not we've always had people say that the elections are fixed. It's not worth voting. Is it worth, in your opinion, is it worth going out and voting in the midterms? Because
where do I live?
I think it's a struggle.
Well, where do I live?
You live in Florida.
Right. So where I vote, the election is done with integrity and honesty. Where you vote, it isn't. Ask me how many times I was excited or even had somebody to vote for when I lived in Illinois, Stan. Not to mention, how do you vote? And I'm serious. I know how smart you are. I know what kind of guy you are. How could you possibly go and vote in the city that has celebrated stealing an election since 1960 openly? Not just among their social clubs. Openly, the Chicago Democrats and the Democrats that run the state have celebrated for 100 years stealing elections. You going to go waste your time? Go ahead. Don't matter to me. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. I wouldn't have voted if I would have lived in Iraq either. It's the same thing. You're living among scumbags. That's the beauty, though. There's only 376 counties out of 3,143. That's the game. They're the minority, as they always have been. The Bolsheviks, the Mensheviks, the Lenins, the Stalins, whatever they are. Steeped in scandal, and it only operates if you go along with it. Stop going along with it. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
The IRS just lost thousands of experienced agents. Unfortunately, your tax debt didn't disappear with them. Right now, the IRS is understaffed and overwhelmed. Now is the time to put your IRS issues behind you. Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS? Has the IRS garnished your wages yet? Have they grabbed your bank account yet? They will if you ignore them long enough. This is Patrick Noon with PJN Tax Solutions Group. We are a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. Listen, this is your window of opportunity. Our tax resolution team knows exactly how to leverage the chaos. But you need to act before the IRS regroups. Call us now. The IRS is in disarray. We are not. 630-415-5296. That number again, 630-415-5296. Or just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Food, fuel, jobs. It all starts with homegrown Illinois corn. Driving a $148 billion economic impact, corn supports thousands of jobs and strengthens communities across our state. It's advancing cleaner burning biofuels, expanding plant-based manufacturing, and growing a renewable economy. Illinois corn isn't just an agricultural success, it's a strategic investment in energy, innovation, and economic growth. See what's possible at ilcorn.org.
This is what I mean. Now, you wouldn't know it because you live in an area where you're always being persecuted and you're having your money stolen from you in one form or another, whether it's real estate taxes or your opportunity to even make money in the arena of Democrat mafia control. But outside of these areas, in the market itself, just the market, the benign market, The Dow Jones is up 22.97% since Donald Trump was too big to rig. And they still were able to steal 376 counties. You can look at the NASDAQ, up 28.26%. You can look at the S&P, up 28.43%. That is just the private sector growth of our economy since Donald Trump won the election. You don't have to be risque. You don't have to buy options or sell puts or make IPOs. You could be in a relatively simple municipal fund that doesn't, you don't have to pay attention to it. They do all the work, and you could average about 15% in a Vanguard. Think about that. And all you would have to do is call the right people to understand exactly what fundamental economics, true economic growth, and how important it is for a president to give the people who make their money more of their own. That's what the big, beautiful bill is. Not to mention, he already laid the acorns so that all the entitlements can be broken. When kids get $1,000 at birth, you think they're going to want that scam that isn't there called Social Security? Of course not. By the time your grandkids are your age, there will be no Social Security in this country. The entitlement system will be run, if it exists at all, in a very effective fashion by computers, not crooked Democrats. This is just the beginning, I believe, of an economic boom you want in on. Now, if you want in on it, I got exactly the guy to call. Tom Fortino. Handsome as a Greek soap opera star. Handsome and wicked smart like Socrates. Tom Fortino, the people of Alpha Wealth Group, can help you not only grow your retirement to hit your goals in retirement, but make certain your kids get the money and not some illegal alien under temporary protected status or just here the old-fashioned way illegally. And all you have to do is call Tom Fortino at 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711. Tell Tom you want a no-obligation consultation, or anybody that picks up the phone. For 30 years, they've been delivering, avoiding the economic potholes of corruption when policies create entire industries that are no longer there, like electric school buses that the office tramp loved to ride on. She's looking for underwear. If you want to get in and avoid the potholes and leave your money to your kids, and that's what's important to you, call 630-864-6711 or online, alphawealthgroup.com. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, right here on AM 560, The Answer at 9 a.m., the Alpha Wealth Group Hour, where you can hear a conversation that's going to touch upon growth, going to touch about new industries, and how to avoid the old ones for free. The Alpha Wealth Group Hour. When we get back, we're going to go to the lines. Got lines filling up. 312-642-5600. You know, Tony, I'm partial to the ladies. You'll probably be first, but no guarantees. That'll be after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. Mostly cloudy and cooler with a couple of showers. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. One person hospitalized after a large fire broke out at a high-rise building on Chicago's north side this morning. 5 were critically hurt after 2 boats with 14 on board collided on Lake Michigan near the Loop late last night. The death toll expected to rise in Venezuela in the aftermath of 2 major earthquakes. Thousands have been injured, nearly 600 killed, hundreds more trapped. Illinois now has the 5th highest error rate in the nation for improper payments to recipients of federal food subsidies. Illinois House Republican leader Tony McCombie said the governor promised to improve the error rate.
You're not serving the most vulnerable people who need it. And that's really what's more concerning for me is the amount of money that will be lost to the people that actually need it because they're not willing to do their job.
Cubs take on Milwaukee tonight. White Sox and Royals. In the news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage where membership has its privileges. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. Your next news update is at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jill Urchek.
On the Edens going out at Dundee, there is a crash taking out 3 of the left lanes at Solid from Willow. 50 minutes on the outbound side. The Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, hour and 10. It is tight in the Express Division to Keeler. Outbound Eisenhower, 1 hour. Post Office to 390. On the Stevenson outbound, 45 minutes to Saba Lakeshore Drive out to 355. And the Dan Ryan out 30 minutes. Express lane, that's pretty tight. 35th to 51st, then Garfield down to 67. Road work delays on the outbound 4 to 130th to Bovian Woods. Heavy along to Saba Lakeshore Drive, both north and south. Tri-State, you'll see tie-ups either way. Also, the Reagan slowing down eastbound into the tri-state, and the Jane Addams tight either way. 355 slowing down mainly on the southbound trip. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with the low of 61. Saturday will bring pleasant weather with a mix of clouds and sunshine, reaching a high of 77. Saturday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 63. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Today we tip our wrench to Rock Auto customer Jeremy.
When I was a kid, I used to spend hours watching my stepdad work on cars. It really turned into something special, and now I work on all my own cars. I heard about Rock Auto the first time just doing an internet search. I couldn't recommend Rock Auto enough. Fact is, my kids go there to buy. I tell my neighbors about them. I tell pretty much everybody about them.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Estate jewelry, vintage watches, sell worldwide for true auction value. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, that's an allegation. I could hear it, Squirrel. I could hear it reversed through the radio. You can't prove anything. Well, let's pretend we're not from the capital of mafia under the virtue shield of a political philosophy known as Chicago, where Saul Alinsky married Marxism. And they're going to give you the 5-year Soviet plans and that. It's always a gangster area. Short in the pants, daily crime syndicate. All look like they fell off a Lucky Charm box. And it was revealed throughout the years, I don't know how many different times, but one of my favorite has to be Unite for Freedom, the organization. And I'm not arguing with Greg. He knows I love him. But I want to prove my allegation. Unite for Freedom. This was, I think it was in 2021 maybe, or 2020. And it's a fascinating reveal of how the people who you put in charge of your city, they don't just steal your fracking money and never go to work and hire their friends and their cousins. They control the outcome of what we think is an election. They always have. They bragged about it for 100 years. Illinois, voter fraud.
It was Trump's. I've never voted in a midterm. I've never voted.
What?
I have never voted in a midterm election. Ever.
All right.
I've never voted in a primary. Ever.
Tell us that again.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so what we see here is someone voted in your name for a midterm primary, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 presidential elections. You're saying you did not vote in.
I can tell you, and I'm a bad. I can tell you, I'm a bad patriot. First time I got involved in politics was President Trump. That's my first presidential election. I have never voted in a midterm. I have never voted in another presidential election. This is all a lie. So I am so upset.
So we're looking at 2 presidential votes.
So what are you going to do? Did you really think? How many aldermen, how many state reps and senator, how many political scum have already just been convicted in this state. These are the guys in charge of the voting outcome, of the voting rules. What do you think it's on the up and up? Somebody, oh, come on. They're nice people. I mean, did you see the sweater Maria Pappas had on last month? Get the hell out of here. Democrats are thieves. They can't help it. Dogs got to bark. Birds got to fly. Democrats steal. Tony, Riverside.
Okay, was your last caller, Greg, implying that that you're doing an injustice by saying all Democrats are socialists?
He didn't think I was warning the good people enough and that I was minimalizing the threat that we face. He had the best intentions. He wasn't insulting me.
All right, but does he not realize that the Democrats are the ones embracing these socialists, not the conservatives? So in essence, it's all the Democrats because they're all embracing these socialist candidates.
And they did throughout our life. It isn't just Gus Hall that I play or the people who supported him that went on to be the head of the CIA and the FBI. When Barack Obama ran in his campaign headquarters throughout the country, he had a poster of Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Che Guevara, a murdering communist, murdered tens of thousands single-handedly of himself. The Cuba's prison island always was. That was when you went into his campaign headquarters. That was behind whoever you talked to. So this isn't the first time we face a communist. These are just younger and dumber communists than Barack Obama.
Well, they should stop using democratic socialist and go right to socialist.
Well, and
a socialist candidate.
And what do you think I do? We, the decent people. Why do you think I'm so hard on all this stuff in Illinois? And I loved Illinois. Listen, my neighborhood. You ever meet a guy from Melrose Park? We used to fight guys from the other neighborhoods because we were so proud of Melrose Park. Why do you think I'm like this now? Because when you see the Illinois rebuttal to this scum, the Denny Hasserts rubbing their crotch with kids as they become the Speaker of the House, and the scum that are doing land deals in front of policies they do. Who's going to save you? Those scumbags? I'm just curious. Adam Kinzinger, Joe Walsh. See, to exist with them, you're in with them. That's why when they win, they go to Springfield for years. Mike Madigan. Oh, you don't want to park close to the house. You want a good parking spot. You want air conditioning in your office. Get the hell! I grabbed that little leprechaun and throw him through a frickin' window, and they just kiss their ass because they want to be in the mafia. They all want to be in the mafia.
I think what you need to start saying, Shaun, on your show is the Socialist Party. Just drop Democrats.
Nazis.
Because
no, they're Nazis. The National Socialist Worker Party, American Nazis, are the Democrats. After all, they just put one up. He's going to be the senator from Maine, a legit Nazi. With the marching, the goose stepping, the saluting, the tattoos. Go ahead. Nazis, just like I always said. And for decades, Nazis are right wing. Why? Because they have Hugo Boss suits with big lapels? They're a National Socialist Worker Party, just like what's sweeping the country. But it's not. It's only 376 rat counties. Get the hell away from them. 312-642-5600.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. As Americans celebrate our nation's 250th birthday, we've received a special and quite unexpected gift, a spontaneous outpouring of affection from the rest of the world. Visitors from across the globe are attending World Cup matches here, and many are posting videos expressing their delight with what they're finding and what we so often take for granted. Our safe streets and parks, our barbecue, ranch dressing, the wonders of Longhorn Steakhouse, unlimited refills, but above all, the kindness and friendliness of the American people. Too often, tourists fly into New York or Los Angeles and assume they've seen America. Now they're discovering America's heartland and the enormous heart of its generous, welcoming people. At 250 years old, America is still inspiring admiration, gratitude, and affection around the world. I'm Carol Platt-Liebau.
Temperatures are rising, and so are concerns about inflation, market volatility, and taxes.
Revisit your financial plan this summer. VestGen Wealth Partners work with individuals to develop personalized plans that help navigate changing conditions with confidence. Visit GetRetiredStayRetired.com to learn more.
Advisory services offered through VestGen Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and VestGen Advisors, LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. VestGen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
Hello, everyone. Gary Sinise here. I'm thrilled to share that me and the Lieutenant Dan Band are returning to Cantini Park in Wheaton, Illinois, where we will be rocking for our vets. Join us on July 11th for the West Suburban Foundation for Disabled Veterans America 250 concert, saluting our veterans and supporting your veteran community. Tickets are on sale now at WSFDV.org, and I can't wait to see you there. Let's rock for our vets.
You know I don't push products I don't believe in, so listen up because this one I love and recommend to friends and listeners. It's Virago Liquid Immune Support. Now I spoke with Dr. Hubert, the creator of Virago, and let me tell you, this man knows immune health like nobody's business. He explained to me the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body fights back against viruses, disease, inflammation, all of it. That's why he created Virago. It's a liquid immune boosting supplement packed with 23 powerful nutraceuticals working together in synergy. It's antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and even protects your heart, kidneys, and liver. And because it's liquid, your body absorbs it quickly. I mix Virago in my smoothies. I feel the difference, and you will too. So order your bottle of Virago today at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. myvirago.com, coupon code IMMUNE.
It is that time of year again to save babies by providing ultrasounds with our friends at Preborn. You know how this goes. We've done it every single year at this time. All you have to do is pick up the phone and say, I want to provide a free ultrasound to a girl. Give her the chance to see the truth of what's happening in her body. Every $28 helps do that, saving one baby. $280 can do that, helps save 10 babies. More does more. The phone number is 833-850-2229. 833-850-BABY. Join us saving babies with Preborn again this year. We're going to save hundreds of babies, one at a time, 2 or 5 or 10 at a time. That phone number again is 833-850-BABY. That's 833-850-2229. Or go online to 560theanswer.com/baby.
AM 560, The Answer.
When a Democrat tells you they're embarrassed, you know what that means? Nothing. It means absolutely nothing. You think Larry David, that lemon-faced moron pig that he is, or that imbecile Joy Behar, were you guys embarrassed?
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. These allegations are false.
Aside from being hysterically funny, of which it is, he was a sitting president, 60 years old. She was a 21-year-old intern. You want to talk about scum. I mean scum. And as they throw accusations at Trump, were you embarrassed by this schizophrenic?
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which, the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt. It just, you know.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
You embarrassed by that pig, that schizophrenic whore with her cat named Nipples, financed by Reid Hoffman, Jell-O in a baggie? You embarrassed by anything? Look at your neighborhoods. 40 shot for Paul Lisnick Day. You embarrassed? Yuck. Wait, where's my thing? Here we go. Here's the midboard. Jim, Lake County.
Namaste, Shawnee.
Namaste.
Hey, that last clip you played, she sounded like she enjoyed what she was talking about.
She should have. She got paid well, and she was just stealing the script from SVU, Law & Order, Season 13, Episode 11, which, not me saying it, Jim, that came out in the Business Daily, and it came out, I'm not kidding you, it came out within a week of her accusation. Within a week, they played the clip from SVU, Law and Order, season 13, episode 11. Her and Reid Hoffman stole the script and gave an allegation. And then they bribed a crooked Democrat judge to get rid of statute of limitations, and they made up the whole fracking story. These are scum of the earth. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to tell you about what was going on this weekend. You know, you had callers on that were really, really good. You know, the Obama thing. What should he be known for? And for me, I voted for him twice, literally, seriously. And because I bought the message, bro. I bought the message. But here,
hope and change. Yes, we can.
All that hope and all that shit. Anyway, the deal with him is that he tagged on another big bill onto the middle class, and that's health care. And if you can't afford it, you ain't getting your tax bill.
Hey, that's nothing. What he did with the subsidies for that eco-green agenda bulldog, it's trillions in debt. And they did it all with the hope and change bulldog that you bought. Now, listen, I'm going to keep your number in case I ever want to sell a piece of property that really sucks. I'm going to tell you how fantastic it is, and you get your checkbook out. My God. Some people out there buy anything.
A federal report today predicted possible catastrophic warming of the Earth by the 1990s with the strong climate change.
What the scientists are telling us, we don't get our act together within the next 8 or 9 years. We're talking about cities all over the world, major cities going underwater.
You embarrassed yet? Are you embarrassed?
At least 8 times in the past million years, it has advanced and retreated with clockwork regularity. If we are unprepared for the next advance, the result could be hunger and death on a scale unprecedented in all of history. What scientists are telling us now is that the threat of an ice age is not as remote as they once thought.
No, it's right around the corner. That was 1974. 77. What's the difference? Nobody knows who Leonard Nimoy is. Dead. Unlike Mitch McConnell, who is the walking dead. Glenn in Orlando.
Shaun, the word Obama. One big ass mistake, America.
No, he's their princeling. Now you got people going to his library. They don't even know what the frack he did. These are the morons that will always bring down not just an area, but a country if the country doesn't prepare. And the country should prepare right now when you're in the lead. There are 376 counties to segregate. There are 376 counties to abandon. Abandon them physically. Go to an area that's a little shaky but savable, where John Thune is, and get that bum out. That's what you do.
Hey, Shaun.
Yeah.
If the Obama library has a maintenance issue, who's going there to repair the washroom, the elevator, the escalator? Who's going to do the work?
Some union moron that'll throw up a bill that's 3 times as much, hoping he gets paid a third. And the irony is he won't get paid anything because Obama will out-swindle a swindler. That's what he does. Where is my guy here? Chris, Orland Park.
Hey, Shaun. Hey, I got a couple of things. First, if I got to hear another commercial about 3-on-3 basketball before your intermission here, I got to find somebody else. This is going on all week.
Oh, just come on. You lower the commercials, you turn it up. Watch it on Facebook. I'm very attractive. You'll love it. Shoot.
Second, the over-under here, I think, for the Chicago shootings, I think I'd place it at 10 now that Office of Gun Reduction is in place.
Listen to me.
It took for 20 years.
I gave you 40.
Office.
I gave you 40 on Thursday. I said 40. On Thursday! Like Lefty Rosenthal, I made that line. You kidding me? I got guys from the grave are trying to call me, see if I can make lines for the next sporting event, Chris. Just turn down the commercials. You stick with me, kid. George in Naperville.
Yeah, Shaun, no disrespect to anybody, but I thought it was only crazy white ladies that voted for Obama twice.
No, namaste. He was high. He does yoga. He was surrounded by him. Thank you very much. Hope and change. Terry, Chicago.
Hey, Shaun, there used to be a line, if my aunt had boss, you'd be my uncle. They got this parade on Sunday, and I was wondering, does Muldowney and Brandon Johnson have a touch of the Lori Lightfoot in them, or the right tool for the right job?
Listen, you're looking at it too pessimistically. For the first time in a couple of years, even with the Supreme Court justice, at least we now figured out how to get the Democrats to understand what a woman is. All you have to do is call Michelle Obama a man. All of a sudden, they know. And as I say, Squirrel, I'm not saying the fighter was right. She may have a vagina. Nobody wants to see it.
Sir, what's your name? What's your name?
Debbie Brockman, I work for WGN.
Why do you have Pritzker's pants on? We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
Platform safety is critical at your commercial and industrial facility. Keeping people safe and meeting OSHA requirements isn't optional. That's why Vans Industrial offers free platform inspections by professional structural engineers who know exactly what to look for. Problems with platforms, ladders, or stairs can lead to costly fines or worse. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to protect people in your facility.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. With decades of experience, I bring long-standing industry knowledge from inspecting, correcting, and replacing countless platforms to make facilities safer. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor equipped to modify or replace steel catwalks, handrails, stairways, and ladders. Our union building trades professionals fabricate and install high-quality steel systems that create safer work environments.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free platform inspection by professional structural engineers. See what else we can do for you. Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560. The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Greatest job in history, and I got it. And then my next guest is a big reason why I got it. I have to tell you, when you know Steve, it's impressive, his accolades. American political analyst, financial strategist, writer, keynote speaker, somebody who has been a consultant to Trump, to DeSantis, to a lot of important people. But the thing about Steve to realize is if he can ever help you, he will. The character is top shelf. Steve Cortez with his new documentary, Paradise Lost, comes out next week. We're going to talk all about that and so much more after Mike Scott in the news.
Good afternoon. Clouds, cooler, a couple of showers, and a high near 70. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. 5 were critically hurt after 2 boats collided on Lake Michigan near the Loop on Thursday night. The Coast Guard says the crash involved 14 people near Monroe Harbor around 11:45 p.m. Former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton was in federal court today. He was expected to plead guilty to mishandling classified documents. UN efforts to evacuate stranded ships from the Strait of Hormuz are on hold after a vessel was struck by the Iranian military. Chicago public school officials say there are some services that won't be touched as the district works to plug a projected $732 million deficit. However, the Chicago Teachers Union claims the district is considering reducing the number of school days next year.
From CPS and the city, we've been meeting weekly for months. They believe they may have to cancel 2 weeks of school this year.
Jackson Potter is vice president of CTU. The Cubs have won 6 of 7 and visit Milwaukee tonight while the White Sox battle the Royals. The news, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both. Subscribe free at 560theanswer.com/podcast. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Susan Lee, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages finishing lower in choppy trading, with the Nasdaq and S&P 500 suffering their 5th straight session of losses in a tech sell-off amid AI valuation fears. Memory chip stocks fell after Thursday's rally, with shares of Micron Technology falling 6% after surging 16% on Thursday following its blockbuster earnings report. Also adding to tech jitters, reports that ChatGPT maker OpenAI will be delaying its IPO. Plunging oil prices lifting the mood of investors, with West Texas Intermediate crude closing below $70 for the first time since the Iranian conflict began and settling over $69 a barrel. The Dow posting weekly gains while the Nasdaq and S&P 500 finished lower for the week. The Dow down 45 points, the Nasdaq lower by 61, S&P 500 down 3. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven. You can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted, it works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE. 844-43-BIBLE.
What's with the ladder?
And the bowling ball.
I'm testing the unsmushable Qualix Ultra Foam in Penny Mustard's Motion Sectional.
By dropping a bowling ball on it?
Among other things.
Like what?
Let's see. Kettlebell, cinder block, giant bag of sand, tractor tire, a full set of encyclopedias.
You don't have to do this.
The Qualix Ultra Foam seats in our Motion Sectionals have already been proven to stay supportive and comfortable for the life of the sofa.
Plus, it's a motorized recliner that allows you to adjust to the exact centimeter of comfort.
If you'll excuse me, these heavy items aren't going to drop themselves.
Wait, are you also dropping a dog on the sectional?
No, that's a St. Bernard to rescue me when I get trapped under all this stuff.
The forever comfortable Motion Sectional, American made with a solid wood frame and hundreds of fabric and leather options, starting at just $62.95 at Penny Mustard.
7 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com.
Unsmushable versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the outbound Edens, 35 minutes. That's heavy from an earlier crash at Dundee back in 48. The Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, hour and 5. Eisenhower post office out to 390. That's also an hour and 5. And the Stevenson, 45 minutes out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. 30 minutes outbound Dan Ryan, Titan Express as well. 57's clear, slowing down outbound 4 to 130th to Beaubien Woods with construction. Heavy along the Tri-State and DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. Jane Addams tied up both directions. 355 southbound, watch out for an accident at Ogden, blocking the right lane. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 61. On Saturday, expect a pleasant day with intervals of clouds and sunshine reaching a high of 77. Saturday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 63. Sunday will start with a chance of a thunderstorm in spots in the morning, then turning humid with clouds breaking for some sun and a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white,
The minute I heard this clip, the minute I heard it, I thought of my next guest.
It's time for a national billionaires tax and a new social contract. Think about this, just 10% of people in this country own 2/3 of the wealth.
And he's related to everybody in that 10% arena.
Gavin Newsom destroyed paradise. He has brought suffering, failure, and misery to the state of California, a place once so revered and admired that it was compared to the Garden of Eden.
It's a great place to live if you're part of the feudal elite. If you're not, it's a nightmare.
Our leadership has failed us. It's gotten really dangerous. The crime is out of control, the homelessness. It's scary these days.
It's the highest rate of poverty, the American dream in California. It's very, very difficult to achieve.
His policies have failed in every possible way regarding the rebuild of Pacific Palisades.
As of November 2025, only one home has been rebuilt.
Do not expect any rebuilding. You have no idea how much red tape there is in regulation. It is not going to happen.
I haven't seen one construction worker.
No, not one.
What's going on? Why is this not happening? Why is this not the busiest construction site in America? Gavin Newsom says it's gone because of climate change.
We're on the tip of the spear. You saw one of the most devastating wildfires in American history in the middle of winter.
There is nothing at all unusual about this fire unleashing in January, because that is right when the Santa Ana winds kick up. California fails to manage its many forests correctly. It does not clear brush and effectively thin forest as it needs to do. The nearby San Ynez Reservoir was empty when the fires began. Actually, Gavin, it was arson and totally negligent initial fire response, not so-called climate change.
Now, you know the voice. He needs no introduction on this station. American political analyst, financial strategist for decades, building a reputation that now people pay him to give his advice. Except for me. I pay him nothing. He is my friend. I love Brian Piccolo, and I love Steve Cortez. What's up, handsome?
How are you, brother? Great to talk to you. Hey, do they let you smoke cigars while you're doing the show?
Yes. I'm in Studio Xanadu, brother. Right now, La Gloria Cubana, that it would make your mouth water.
Fantastic.
Yeah, sure. But go ahead. Tell me a little bit about this. And you know what's amazing about the whole Gavin Newsom thing? Yeah. I can't get past the fact his father was William Newsom. And all those years of John Paul Getty, when John Paul Getty paid the bribe to the Italian mafia, it was Gavin Newsom's father that brought the money. He structured it as a loan so that nobody would have to pay taxes on the money. Negotiated send a year. Negotiated it from $3 million, got him to $800,000. You want to talk about a scoundrel? Never paid a tax in his life, and all his trust fund money comes from oil. It's unbelievable.
Yep. Yeah, and then rails about so-called climate change. No, you're exactly correct. He is a creation of the Getty family, and his own family connections, but, really their close connectivity with the Gettys. All of his life is a scam. When he opens his mouth, he lies. And, it's all a scam to the point where, for example, he claims that he played baseball in college, which he didn't. And he lies about it constantly. He still does. Now, that, you might say, isn't all that consequential, but I think it's indicative, of course, of his just character and who he is. And then some of his lies are very consequential, right? For example, saying that this tragedy was not preventable in Pacific Palisades and saying it happened because of so-called climate change. No, it was actually very predictable during an extreme drought in California, which is very cyclical. That has happened for about because they had.
Hold on now. That plate in your head is screwing up the cell signal. Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you have me?
All right. Now I do. You must have been getting in and out of a car because you got that big satellite you call a head, and it's throwing the signal off. But go ahead.
So, no, and he lies about far more consequential things, like the Pacific Palisades fire being inevitable or just being some tragedy or a result of climate change. No, it was totally predictable, totally preventable. However, because they don't manage their forests correctly, because they don't collect the vast amounts of water that come from the heavy snows that come every 5, 6, 7 years in California, that's the normal way of nature, the normal cycle of nature in California, drought years for several years in a row, then followed by lots and lots of snow in the Sierra Nevadas, which all melt down and then make California the green, beautiful place that it is. But rather than collecting that rainwater, rather than having firefighters be ready because they knew how dry everything was and they knew that the Santa Ana winds were kicking up, none of that happened. So the fire happens. It was totally preventable. It was an absolute tragedy. And then even worse to me, and that's why I went out there, Shaun, because once I started realizing that the rebuild of one of the most beautiful places on the planet, all right, it's hard to exaggerate. For folks who've never been there, Pacific Palisades is almost like natural stair steps down to the Pacific Ocean. So the views are unbelievable. It's just a verdant, sun-kissed, incredible place, generally very wealthy. This place burned to the ground, 6,000 homes. One, and when I was out there taping, one had been rebuilt over a year later because of Gavin Newsom, because it's impossible to get any business done in California because the permitting is insane. So I think the failure to rebuild is even worse than the preventable fire itself. They're both awful, but I think that's even worse. And the reason I'm doing this, Shaun, is to expose his California record because, listen, this guy, as much of a scumbag as he is, he's slick, he's good at media, he's good looking, he's got a good-looking family, he's got a lot of money behind him. He may be the Dem nominee. He's certainly going to give it a strong run. And if he is the Dem nominee, he might fool some people, and they need to know, what did he actually do in California? What would he do for America?
And you know what I like is the family connections, the family legacy. And now he has the kid that he just propped up against him. He's got a young son that he put up right next to him. I don't know if you saw the last propaganda piece on him. And he's at a sporting event. He's got the kid there. So they run that hand-me-down corruption like a Chicago Democrat does. And, you know, it's funny what you said when you said they lie. They lie when they don't have to. And you remember this, all of our years of interacting with these Democrat kids down at the Merc and at the board when they would come from the mafia money. And all they couldn't tell the truth. It's the same. Yeah. You can't tell the truth. Just tell the truth. It'll do. Nah, I prefer to lie. It's like Barack Obama and Brandon Johnson. You could hang them by their feet. Tell the truth or I'll drop you. They're going to take their chances. I think I can make it. They're going to tell you another frickin' lie. Cannot tell the truth because it's within the lies that their empire is built. It's all fracking lies. And when you think about California, you know, it's infinitesimal counties. I'm big on this county things. If people get sick of it, I don't care. 75% of the counties, 74.8, always vote for the good guy. Always. They voted for Trump. They vote for everybody who's not a Democrat. Yet you've got the small percentage of counties that overwhelm the decent areas, and they do to California what they did to Illinois, what they did to New York State, what they did to New Jersey State. And that's what we need to break that chain because they're stealing our money. And now they have this new thing, you're going to tax billionaires. Well, tax yourself. Here's a guy, and you know what I love? How he buys the houses that he lives in. All money laundering schemes. His trust fund buys it in the brother's name, then he gets it. They also can't pay taxes. I'd love to know what the tax check Nancy Pelosi, who is his aunt, Nancy Pelosi and Paul Pelosi and all these people, and there are the moron communists and socialists. They can't vote for them fast enough. So to me, I mean, I think the people in California, those are cowboys too. Those are long legacies of people who love this country. If those 74 counties can't figure out something to get away from the rest, That's a problem. I think that should be the move of the Republican Party from now on. I either want to make 150 states, break them all apart, triple, quadruple the amount of congressmen and senators, and let's log jam this son of a gun up. What do you think?
Yeah, no, look, it makes sense to me. Obviously not easy to pull off, but it makes sense to me. I'll tell you, too, the other thing that I think shocks people, and people don't believe me on this, I mean, you can check me, California has the highest poverty rate in America. So California is a very third world place. So the glistening coast is full of unbelievably wealthy people, the wealthiest people in the world, although they're leaving now because of the taxes, because of what Gavin's going to do to them. However, you have these glistening coasts, and a lot of people who haven't spent time in California, that's all they know, and they just see sort of the Hollywood version and it's an incredible place. It's the most beautiful landscape, I think, on planet Earth, and only leftists could ruin a place like that. However, other than the ultra wealthy, everyone else, life is a slog for them. They live in tiny homes. They have extremely long commutes. They're paying $8 a gallon for gas. The regulatory burden is such that they can't start businesses. They can't build a new home. Life is really brutal, and the highest poverty rate in America, according to the Census Bureau, because the way they calculate it, which is correct, is adjusting for costs. And the costs are so sky high to life there that the standard of living in California is the worst in America. And we're going to elevate this scumbag to be the president of the United States. And by the way, right now, according to betting markets, the two top contenders for the Dem nomination, both California. It's Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom. So it could be we're going to have a Cali on Cali battle royale for the Dem nomination. And my point is, of course, neither one is remotely worthy of even consideration. However, both of them have their lane. Kamala Harris, of course, already was a nominee, was vice president, got a lot of votes, inexplicably, but she did. And she's a black woman, right?
Is she?
And so she,
I mean, come on, man. It's such an insult. It's not like Barack Obama grew up watching Good Times, and it's not like Kamala Harris didn't grow up in Canada, and she's not really black. Her mother is an Indian, and her father is Jamaican.
Right. She grew up in Canada, very culturally Indian, right? That's the reality. It is true, yes. But I think either she wised up or somebody in her life told her, you need to go to Howard University and you need to sort of get black, right? Which she, reasonably successfully did. And regardless of what you and I think, she's regarded as black, which is key for her. So she has a lane, is my point. Gavin Newsom's lane is that he's slick. He's good at media. He's a consummate liar, a fairly effective liar, and massive amounts of money behind him, right? But I think if we expose his record, and to me, I'm going to do several of these docs on him. The first one is Palisades, because I think it's the most damning of all, because here's what I also point out in the documentary. If even these rich Democrats, and they're mostly rich Democrats in the Palisades, okay, if even they can't get their house rebuilt, if even they can't get any action, and Shaun, believe me, when you go to Palisades now, I mean, it's ashes. It looks like the fire happened 2 days ago. It happened well over a year ago now, and nothing is happening. I was there on a weekday, not a hammer swinging, not a truck, not a construction worker anywhere in sight, nothing happening. Just
so it's like
a wasteland.
It's like road repair in Illinois or Chicago. Just a lot of cones, nobody working. What else is very interesting is the amount of corruption that has been right next to him, from his chief of staff who just went away, and the fact that his wife now is the recipient of what, $4 million, $3 million, $5 million of NGO money that he steers to the way. And, this is the other problem, too, is that the system itself is so corrupt, because you know full well that the arsonist who started the whole fracking fire, they just had a hung jury and they get a mistrial on the case. And that kid is on record and posts how he hates the rich people, and he goes to Palisades, he lights the fracking fire. And that's like, what, the fourth time they've had a Democrat, socialist, communist ignite a fire that burns hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars in the air and acres and property. So they have to judge. Now, you're going to tell me that jury wasn't as rigged as one in Silver Shovel era in Chicago, Cook County. It's right. How could you let this guy walk? The judges are crooked. The chief of staff is stealing money. So you've got that same Chicago mafia infrastructure that poses as a legitimate government. It's a problem.
Yeah. And by the way, in terms of the fire that he set, that I get into this doc too. The specifics here are even worse, right? So this scumbag that set the fire, it's actually put out reasonably easily. The Laughlin fire near Pacific Palisades, put out reasonably easily. Thankfully, right? There are actually some good fire response, except it was so dry and there were so many winds. It was still smoldering. It was actually a full 6 days later that the Palisades inferno erupted. And why did they not put it out fully? You know why? Because they were, quote, protected species of plants in the area where it was still smoldering. And so, and we have this on record. This isn't supposition. They literally said, Sacramento said, quote, let it burn. Just let it burn because there's some protected plants in there. And
how'd the plants do in the end? Did the plants pull through?
And we ended up destroying an entire town. And at least 12 people died. It's hard to know exactly how many because which deaths do you attribute to But anyway, at least a dozen people died. Thousands and thousands of homes destroyed. And again, to me, the worst part of all, as bad as all that is the fact that we're not rebuilding. I mean, this is the United States. Like, do you know how fast, speaking of California, when huge earthquakes in the old days, right, in the gold rush kind of days, in the days when California was still truly the West, when massive earthquakes would hit San Francisco, how fast they would rebuild, right? The ingenuity, the hustle. I mean, that's California. That's what it was, at least, right? It's not anymore, of course. Now, in the wealthiest part of California, you can't even get a hammer swinging. You can't get anything going on more than a year later. Again, in a place where people are connected. If even they can't get this done, it shows you just how corrupt, inept, and just, totally, almost fixated on failure Gavin Newsom and his cronies are. And what I'm trying to do is warn America, though, because, listen, this guy's he's got a pretty good platform. And by the way, if he gets indicted for the crimes that he and his wife are committing, and I hope he does get indicted, that may have on the Dem side a little bit of the Trump effect on the Republican side, meaning it might vault him to the front of that Democratic nomination. And that could happen. We'll see. We'll see what unfolds there. But he's admitted publicly that he's being investigated for the absolute abuse of nonprofits that he and his wife have perpetrated, even though they're already both generationally rich. That's not enough for them, to just enjoy the riches they've stolen. They need more.
You know what I love about that position you just articulated and why I think you should be calling the big guy, because I know you got the cell phone, is when you look at our own area, Chicago, the Democrats that make up the supporters of the mafia, they are not offended by political theft. They're incentivized. They're titillated. They want in on it. This is the other thing. The way out of these feudalist areas, and that's what they are when you live in these areas, it's feudalism. If you're an honest person and you're working, they're going to tax you into poverty. They're going to tax you into that malaise. But what happens is their standard of and their opinion and their acceptability of crime, it gets in line with them. That's why you don't see one Democrat. Have you ever, and you're a political junkie just like I am, where's the elected Democrat or the people who support or make up the DNC outraged at the hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars that have been stolen and revealed to the American people? Is there one? Is there one Democrat that said, we got to get this money back? So
no, because it's a cartel now.
And so are the people. The people are intellectually corrupted. If you're still a Democrat in the year 2026, with all of the evidence, with all of the ghettos, with all of the once great areas where buildings are going into receivership and they're just walking away, if you're still a Democrat, it's because you want in on it. You want to be part of that feather bedding in the government. Brandon Johnson, this scoundrel, when I tell you, I don't know what the stats are, but somebody's got to look at the amount of people he's hired directly and indirectly. I mean, you're talking, I think it was 46,000 people are on the payroll of city of Chicago. 46,000. When you and I were at the Merc, you know what it was? 20. 20. Wow. So you more than double it, and they got a committee, and we're going to do this committee, and hundreds of millions pour in. It's the cut me in or cut it out. And intellectually, you know these guys, they would much rather. How many guys would prefer a ghost job than going to work? Well, all you got to do is be a Democrat? Come on. And I sit behind Ed Burke's house? How about the coppers? How many generations of coppers? You think he wants to go by the side broad's house yet? It's getting cold in here. Turn the air up or turn the heat up. I'm so sick of pretending that we're all on the same level of character. If you're a Democrat, you want in on the theft.
Yeah. Well, and at this point, too, I mean, think about who the Democrats are, right? Think about the candidates who just won in New York, who are going to win their races, so they're going to be seated in the U.S. House of Representatives, who blame America for Islamic terror, who have said overtly, on the record, they want to eliminate Western civilization. Their patron politically is Mondani, who, by the way, what's his new announcement today? I don't know. I posted this just now on my social media.
Rent freeze.
Well, yes, rent freeze, yes. In addition to that, though, that's not enough. Also, a city fund to pay to transition children, to sexually mutilate children, to chop off the healthy private parts of children to advance their sick, radical, perverse agenda and inflict that abuse upon children. That's who the Democrats of the 2020s are. This is a long way from Tip O'Neill, okay? A long way.
Well,
these are not your parents or grandparents' Democrats.
Well, why would they stop if there's no penalty? And, we got the exact right guy for the exact right thing. He comes on air and he talks about how he's going to nullify the Supreme Court. He's going to ignore it. Well, that's an insurrection. He is in a position where he's elected. He's a political public figure, and he is bragging how he is going to circumvent, break, ignore, and use government itself to protect illegals from government. That's a declaration of war. Stop all money tomorrow. Why can't they just do that? I don't understand why we just have to take it. After all, this house of cards that they run, it stops if they can't get the funding from everybody else. Shut them off. Scott Bessent, shut the spigot off. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, listen, as far as Gavin Newsom goes, I mean, I'm with you, by the way, on withholding funds. I think there should be a lot more work on that. But it does look like the investigation of the DOJ, which is finally doing something. It did nothing under Pam Bondi. It does seem like the DOJ is getting serious about at least investigating his personal corruption. Now, that's not what he's done in public office, right? But in terms of his personal corruption and he and his wife and their abuse of nonprofits. I will tell you, by the way, the biggest problem he's going to have, because like I said, he's a very skilled politician. I hate to admit that, but he is. The biggest problem he's going to have running is going to be his wife. She is wacko, and she won't shut up either. So she's not just wacko, she's wacko, and she's very prolific. In other words, she's always in front of the media and saying the craziest things possible, particularly regarding gender. I mean, she is truly nuts. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who hates men. I mean, she has put her at the top of the list. She's going to be a problem for him. Even on the Dem side, she's going to be a problem for him.
Well, was that a problem when Obama had Bigfoot? Bigfoot was repulsive and just as vicious and just as mean and just as qualified with just as many scandals, basically, only they hid their money in ghost jobs she never went to. So it's interesting to your point that they could pull it off. I think you're right. And I'm wondering real quick, because one of my favorite Gavin Newsom moments is when he debated Ron DeSantis. I thought it was fantastic to watch. And now that we have the hurricane rebuild, that Ron DeSantis, you saw the bridge to Sanibel Island, right? Remember they came out, this is going to be a 3-year job. It was done in 95 days. 95 days, they're driving on it. Everything's nice. It's fantastic. So the success of DeSantis versus the calamity and the corruption, the mayhem and the feudalism of the Democrats. I mean, DeSantis, even though he's not mentioned, he should be the guy that runs, don't you think?
Yeah, no, and by the way, listen, it's an amazing contrast, those two. And I point that out in the documentary because you're exactly right. Florida gets hit. California has its share of natural disasters, okay? It does. However, Florida gets hit way more, right? And yet Florida manages it, figures out. And I also point out, I didn't notice until I started doing the research. Florida used to have a terrible problem with fires. And I think largely because it's such a lightning state. But anyway, they used to have a lot of problems with wildfires in Florida, really big problems. But you know what they did? They properly manage their forests. They start doing controlled burns. They properly cut the underbrush. They also have really effective fire response. So when little fires do happen, they put them out very quickly. Nobody hears about it. Doesn't make the news. So Florida is in every way is the contrast and the answer to Newsom and California's failures.
Yeah. I love it here. And I'm going to tell you, Rick Scott's another one. Rick Scott grew up in a mobile home park. He could buy a Larry David like juicy fruit. So it's either success versus failure or we got a problem on our hands. Well, when does the documentary come out?
It's going to be out Tuesday morning. You can find it at CortezInvestigates.com. I'll also be putting it on my YouTube, my X, Twitter, everywhere. There's no paywall. We just want people to see it, share it, make sure the truth is known. It'll be out Tuesday morning.
Are you going to call me when you're in Florida or Chicago?
I sure will, brother.
Because I heard you're doing one on Southside Bob. When the Catholic Church has a Southside Democrat named Bob as the Pope, it's no longer infallible, okay?
Understood. That one's coming, too.
Yeah, let me know if you wanted me to do a promo. We start with Southside Bob. You're the best. I love you. Thanks for making time.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560, The Answer.
Hey Chicagoland, Jeff from Jeff Buys Your House. The military taught me that every mission is different. You assess the situation, listen to your team, then execute a plan built around what's needed. Same with helping families sell their homes. Whether it's an inherited house, a parent needing senior living, or life's just taking you in a new direction, we don't show up with a one-size-fits-all answer. We start by listening. What's your timeline? What are you worried about? What would make this easier? Then we build a solution around your needs. No repairs or cleanout are necessary. You pick the timeline that works for you, keep your memories, and we handle everything else. Since 2007, our veteran-led team has earned hundreds of 5-star reviews by doing exactly that, listening first, and treating every family with respect. If you're ready for a no-obligation conversation, call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com. That's jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
Estate planning lawyer and CPA Bob Carlson has been called America's #1 retirement expert. Tens of thousands of American retirees trust his advice. But his latest bombshell sounds almost too good to be true. It's a way to boost Social Security income and collect more on every Social Security check and create a lifetime monthly income stream 100% tax-free. So today, Bob has made it his mission to give retirees and future retirees the full story in a free report. Log on now to retirementwatchreport.com to get yours. This retirement strategy is fully approved by the IRS, even though less than 1% of Americans know enough to use it. Nobel Prize-winning economist and MIT professor Robert Merton predicts this strategy will become one of the key ways to fund retirement in the future. Log on to retirementwatchreport.com to get your free report. That's retirementwatchreport.com. retirementwatchreport.com.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
312-642-5600. Mitchell is on the line. It's always exciting when Mitchell calls in. If you care to participate, that's all you got to do. 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Partly cloudy overnight with a low of 60. 1 confirmed dead, 5 critically hurt after 2 boats collide on Lake Michigan Thursday night. The Coast Guard says it was notified around 11:45 p.m. of the collision near Monroe Harbor. 1 person hospitalized after a large fire broke out in a high-rise on Chicago's far north side on Friday morning. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton pleading guilty to 1 count of illegally retaining classified information after his indictment by the DOJ.
No one is above the law, and I hope that this prosecution sends a clear message that we will vigorously investigate and prosecute individuals who violate our national security laws, and we will bring wrongdoers to justice. U.S.
Attorney for the District of Maryland, Kelly Hayes. Chicago sports tonight. White Sox take on the Royals while the Cubs battle Milwaukee. The news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device. Download the app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. Your next news update is at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check on the roads with Jill Urchak.
It's still wide open on the outbound Edens Kennedy downtown to O'Hare. That is a 1-hour drive. Eisenhower Post Office to 390, also an hour. And the Stevenson DuSable Lakeshore Drive out to 355. That looks better, 40 minutes. Outbound Dan Ryan, give yourself 25 minutes heading out to 95th Street. And the express lanes do have delays from 35th to 51st. Picks up once again Garfield out to Marquette. Heavy conditions remain along the Tri-State and DuSable Lakeshore Drive either direction. Southbound 355 remains sluggish 22nd to Ogden. That is from an earlier crash. This report is a service of Fox Valley Coins in Naperville. Easy to get off I-88 on Route 59 in Naperville. Family-owned, integrity since 1981. FoxValleyCoins.com. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with the low of 61. Saturday will bring pleasant weather with a mix of clouds and sunshine, reaching a high of 77. Saturday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 63. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Regular no lead is $3.74 a gallon at the Costco on 159th in Orland Park, $3.79 a gallon at the Mobile in Tinley Park, and $3.62 a gallon at the Thorntons on 162nd in South Holland.
If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-555-2085, 800-555-2085, or biglou.com.
With things moving fast to resolve the situation in the Middle East, the headlines may change, but the fundamentals haven't. America's debt continues to climb, and uncertainty still hangs over the global economy. That's why investors continue turning to one asset that has stood the test of time: physical gold and silver. For generations, gold has been viewed as a safe haven asset during periods of geopolitical tension and market volatility. That's why Advantage Gold wants to send you a free gold investment guide valued at $49, plus a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's acclaimed book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, when you call 800-900-8000. Discover why central banks are buying gold, why many Americans are diversifying with precious metals, and how a tax and penalty-free rollover into physical gold and silver may fit into your retirement strategy. Don't wait until the next crisis dominates the headlines. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 right now. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Have military collectibles? Turn that history into cash. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Sir, what's your name? What's your name?
Debbie Brockman, I work for WGN.
Size 52, 17 Levi's. Sir! Mitchell Desplains.
Hey, Shaun, I think your next book should be entitled I Was Right, You Were Wrong, Daddy-O, regarding COVID-19. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, you know this. I can't believe this is not a bigger story. The whole thing was a ruse. The whole thing was created in a lab.
Where did you hear it first?
You did. We all did. I mean, people that had. Listen. I was way ahead of the curve. Okay, I was in that industry for 6 years. I met Fauci in '93 when he was a big fish then.
Salem Media, and I'm serious. Salem Media should sue that pickle-faced bastard and every moron that was involved. We said it on this station, the whole station, but we never wavered. We had Facebook was shut down, YouTube was shut down. We had all kinds of nonsense go on. You got to start. It's to me, sue everybody, and I mean everybody.
Shaun, this is worse, way worse than Watergate and Nixon. This guy, Fauci, literally knew that this whole thing was in a biolab. He totally understood that they never went through the clinical trials. It was never tested. They'll never be able to reverse the side effects. They're irreversible for the morons that took the jab.
Mitchell,
and they're still pushing it.
Here's the thing, though. Look at the tens of millions. I had a guy who I love called me the first hour. And he said, I voted for Obama. I bought that stuff twice. Now, not everybody is as in tune with information as we are. And how many companies forced their employees to get this? Exactly. So not everybody that took it went ready, willing, and able. They were forced to take it. And you know what I would do if I were one of these people who was disgruntled? I would sue the politicians, Congress itself.
Absolutely.
And I want to know, because you can know by a blood test who had the vaccine and who didn't. I don't think one congressman, one senator had the vaccine. I don't think one did.
Oh, absolutely. No way. They took a placebo.
Of course.
They
Mitch
took a sugar
McConnell's still
pill.
alive. Mitch McConnell is a weekend at Bernie's. That son of a gun, I think he died in front of us 2 years ago with the freeze frame. And they're still all fine? And we got friends dropping like flies? You know, that's the other thing about Social Security. Did you know, Mitchell? You probably did. That when you look up the Social Security, like how many Americans get paid from Social Security, you know it says 97%? But did you know?
Really?
Yeah. But did you know that 28 to 33% of Americans die before 65? So how does that work? How does that work? It's like Matt and Gavin Newsom's world. Yeah.
Do you think there's going to be Social Security by 2030? Because I have tons of people are trying to convince me that it's not going to exist.
It doesn't exist now. There is no Social Security. It's just stealing money. There is no lockbox. There's no thing. They run the whole fracking government out of one account like some methadone clinic swindler on the south side of Chicago. Thank you very much. By the way, Squirrel, I couldn't help but notice in the news there was a boat accident. Was any of the boats named Butt Naked? Andrew, Cherville, Indiana.
What did Barack say when Michelle asked him why he doesn't have a lot of imagination in the bedroom?
Leave me alone. I'm trying to ignore you.
He said because pretending that you're Shaquille O'Neal doesn't require a lot of imagination.
I don't know what's worse, Michelle Obama in a negligee or Jan Schakowsky. Get the hell out of here. Oh, my word. I'm tired. I just want to go to sleep, you ugly. When you look at some of the scandal that is hitting Chicago, it's hard to pick the ones that are the worst. It really is. But among the absolute ridiculous frauds, it isn't just the ghetto gaming, which is up there. They put a bid in to buy the parking meters 3 times the price that they sold it.
Behind our city's parking meters is trying to sell them to an investment firm called Stone Peak.
Yes, representatives from Stone Peak and the Chicago parking meters spent today answering questions from City Council. Brett Bagansky is live in the loop.
By the way, the whole time that they were trying to buy it at $3.3 billion, they lied. As if they can tell the truth.
And yes, the city did put in a bid to buy back the parking meters, Brett.
This was quite the hearing, Terrence and Lauren, because we found out from the city's law department today that, yes, the city of Chicago put in a bid to buy back the parking meters, but they wouldn't say what the price was. However, Stone Peak, which is the company that's trying to buy the parking meters pending a city council agreement, said it's to their understanding the city's bid to buy back the parking meters was $3.3 billion. That's nearly 3 times the amount it sold it for in 2008, and it's about $800 million more than what Stone Peak ended up bidding. In fact, the company.
So just that right there. So the bid was $2.5 billion, and whatever Socrates, moron, Democrat fraud that was trying to outbid, he bid him $800 million. Well, you guys are awful confident for broke welfare roaches that you are, the whole time lying to the people.
But he said today that their bid was $2.53 billion. Of course, that's pending a city council agreement. We found out there were several factors that went into why the city of Chicago.
Which socialist that never made $1 in his life said, let's go $800 million or more? Stupid idiots.
Didn't get it, but mostly because the city would have to borrow money to buy back the parking meters. Keep in mind.
I wonder if the people who they would have borrowed the money from, the money bundlers that charge 5 times the interest rates on bonds and all that other nonsense, I wonder if they incentivized the city to bid $800 million more than the next bid.
And Mayor Brandon Johnson said his administration looked into buying back the meters, but he said that it was too expensive. But we found out during today's Finance Committee hearing that the Johnson administration put in a bid sometime in the fall of last year and then also signed a non-disclosure agreement with Chicago Parking Meters, the current company. However, reps from the company said today that the NDA is now waived, and that's been the case since June 12th, which is why several.
You think they're going to
alders
tell the truth now? You think they're going to... They lied the whole time. Signed an NDA. You're supposed to be a mayor. Tax the rich. Tax the billionaires. There isn't a rich person or a billionaire that would have jumped that offer by $800 million. Only a commie, Marxist, Democrat kickback recipient would do that. And that's what you are, stupid. 312-642-5600.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
President Trump has triggered a $200 billion tech disruption, and Wall Street is asleep at the switch. This $200 billion investment in chip technology could make today's artificial intelligence chips obsolete. Technology that will make today's AI data centers a thing of the past, like IBM's old mainframes. While most investors are focused on old-fashioned AI, there are 3 companies quietly building a trillion-dollar triangle that could transform every tech sector on Earth. These 3 companies are gearing up to develop and manufacture supercomputers the size of a dinner plate. Institutions like Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street are pouring more than $200 billion into this AI revolution. Investment guru George Gilder has been predicting tech revolutions for more than 40 years, including the iPhone, Netflix, and Amazon. Now he's got his finger on 3 companies whose technology will change tech forever. Log on to TrillionDollarTriangle.com to find out which 3 companies are working on what could be the biggest tech disruption since the internet. TrillionDollarTriangle.com. That's TrillionDollarTriangle.com.
Temperatures are rising, and so are concerns about inflation, market volatility, and taxes. Revisit your financial plan this summer. VestGen Wealth Partners work with individuals to develop personalized plans that help navigate changing conditions with confidence. Visit GetRetiredStayRetired.com to learn more.
Advisory services offered through VestGen Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and VestGen Advisors, LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. VestGen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
I'd like to tell you about a man named Phineas who as a child survived the Holocaust. Phineas survived because Christians hid him from the Nazis, risking everything to save his life. Today, Phineas is in his 80s. He can no longer stand on his own or even leave his home to receive medical care. And when sirens sound and missiles fall, he doesn't have the time or the strength to reach safety. But once again, Christians are helping to save his life. Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a mobile clinic brings doctors and medicine right to Phineas's doorstep, providing care that he otherwise would not receive, especially during a time of war. Phineas said, "Christians saved my life during the Holocaust, and now again, they are helping me." As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, remember these precious children of God by lifting them up in prayer, asking for his protection, his comfort, and his peace. Stand with Israel in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
AM 560. The Answer.
I can't remember nothing, no. But the good time we used to share.
Tell you another thing, Squirrel. I don't care who's running or who's going to try to defend this country against the communist takeover of the lowlifes. But this Stephen Miller, he better be in the next administration. I love him.
Support anyone who loses TPS status as a result of this ruling.
Well, of course, if you no longer have status in this country, then you're supposed to be deported. And in particular, in the case of the Haitians, the Biden administration flew over vast numbers. It's hard to know the exact number, but there are probably more than 1 million illegal immigrants from Haiti. That's not counting the border crossings into the United States. So these are people who've only been here for a few months, who are receiving welfare, whose all their ties, all their social connections, all their family is back in their home country of Haiti. And of course, that's where they should go.
Not to mention the cats and dogs in Ohio.
2 News crews were talking with people in Springfield today, and some are actually happy about the ruling.
Let's head back out to Springfield. 2 News reporter Kirsten Reedford is live there now. Kirsten, what did people say when they heard about this ruling?
Jack, Lauren, some of the people that are here saying that they wanted TPS to end said it was about time because of the strain on healthcare and education in the city. One man we spoke with said he was concerned because when the Haitian population was able to come into Springfield, the schools allowed some who were in their early 20s to take classes at the high school. He said his granddaughter was taking freshman level classes with a 21-year-old man. Another concern people have been mentioning for months was the amount of driving accidents that have happened. Even though a lot of the residents have been concerned about what the Haitian population being in Springfield means for them, others have been in favor of TPS ending because of the way some Haitians have been treated by landlords and employment agencies.
It's interesting, too, to hear the scramble to get away from the scandal that is the Clinton-Haitian connection.
I'll confess something to y'all. Clinton was a lawyer in Arkansas, grew up poor, relatively broke. How the hell him and the Clinton Foundation is worth hundreds of millions of dollars beats me.
Does it beat you? I mean, this is a guy who's supposed to be a candidate, right? This is Stephen Smith talking and commenting on the grown men in costumes on steroids chasing balls his whole life. Do you not fracking know, Steve, dummy? Do you not know what a money laundering scheme the Clinton Foundation is, specifically when it comes to Haiti?
It has entirely crushed Haiti. In 2010, we had an earthquake that killed 315,000 people. That's really a deadly earthquake, and millions were left without shelter. President Obama named Bill Clinton as the one that should be in charge of the reconstruction of Haiti. And in that process, the Clinton Foundation, through U.S. taxpayers' money, and people giving money worldwide to the Clinton Foundation for relief effort to Haiti, contributed about $14.3 billion. We're talking about $1 billion, okay? And the Haitian people has not seen not even 2% of that money.
2%.
Nothing was done in Haiti.
Yeah. No, and the New York Times has investigated this. Lots of other people have, and have found that it was donors to the Clinton.
No kidding. The Clinton Foundation skated with well over $10 billion, Stephen Smith. That's how they got the money. They have a front that pays no taxes. None of these foundations. No taxes, no audits. A vestibule of not just protection from bribery when she's the Secretary of State, from money laundering schemes to capitalize on disasters, both natural and Democrat-made.
I'll confess something to y'all. Clinton was a lawyer in Arkansas, grew up poor, relatively broke. How the hell him and the Clinton Foundation is worth hundreds of millions of dollars beats me.
I just told you. Can you follow the bouncing ball, stupid?
Barack Obama was a community organizer who became the president of the United States, and last time I checked, that salary ain't over $450,000, if I remember correctly. I got to double check that. How the hell you depart from office, you worth over $200 million?
Hey, Rip Van Winkle, open your fracking eyes, jackass. They're stealing the money. We'll be back. Hey, this is Shaun Thompson. You know, most of us spend our entire lives in the paycheck mode. You work, you get 30% taken from the G, you pay your bills, repeat and rinse. And that's how time goes by. Then all of a sudden you're old. Retirement hits. Suddenly, you're the one who has to figure out your paycheck that isn't there anymore. Markets are bumpy, prices are up, things can get stressful real fast. That's why having a real income plan matters. Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can help you build a strategy to turn your hard-earned savings into a reliable retirement income. They coordinate with your Social Security and your tax planning so you can stop wondering if you're withdrawing the right amount at the right time. Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group have been doing this for 30 years. They can help you by giving you a complimentary retirement roadmap. And all you have to do is call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711 or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
This 4th of July, celebrate America the right way. Fire up the grill, invite the family over, launch the fireworks, and proudly display a handcrafted wooden American flag from uniquewoodenflags.com. These stunning hand-finished wooden flags are built with real craftsmanship and patriotic pride. Whether you want a classic American flag, military tribute flag, America First design, or a beautiful flag cross that celebrates both faith and freedom, they've got something for every proud American. Perfect for your home, office, man cave, lake house, garage, or as a meaningful gift for veterans, first responders, and patriots who still love this country. This Independence Day, don't just wave the flag, display it with pride. Visit uniquewoodenflags.com today. That's uniquewoodenflags.com.
Hi, Dr. Huber here with Marty. Marty and I were at the Cigar Festival 2026, and we're here listening to Shaun Thompson's show. And Marty told me about he has a sinus problem that Virago seemed to help.
Probably for the past 15, 20 years, I would get a sinus infection every spring, every fall, and had to go in, get medication. Since the last 2 years I've been taking Virago, I have not had any issues with the sinus. If I feel it coming on, I just up the dosage, and then I get the sweats one night, and then it's all gone. I feel great.
So you think Virago is a big reason for all this improvement?
Yeah, and I don't have to take any sinus medication, which I'm happy about because I don't know what's in half that stuff anyway.
Well, that's great, and thanks, Marty. We're glad to tell our Virago fans that we do help with your sinus problems. Thank you.
Try Virago today. Order your bottle online at myvirago.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. That's myvirago.com, coupon code IMMUNE. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. As Americans celebrate our nation's 250th birthday, we've received a special and quite unexpected gift, a spontaneous outpouring of affection from the rest of the world. Visitors from across the globe are attending World Cup matches here, and many are posting videos expressing their delight with what they're finding and what we so often take for granted. Our safe streets and parks, our barbecue, ranch dressing, the wonders of Longhorn Steakhouse, unlimited refills, but above all, the kindness and friendliness of the American people. Too often, tourists fly into New York or Los Angeles and assume they've seen America. Now they're discovering America's heartland and the enormous heart of its generous, welcoming people. At 250 years old, America is still inspiring admiration, gratitude, and affection around the world. I'm Carol Platt-Liebau.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Real investigative reporter. That's the difference between the fake ones and the real one. My next guest is the real one. 15 years of experience investigating as a reporter. His areas of coverage include crime, politics, and finance. And you know as well as anybody, they intersect more often than they don't. It's written for the Associated Press, the Economist Intelligence Unit. It's the author of a new book, The Trump Assassination Plots, What the Investigation Missed and Why It Matters. It's out now. He is Ken Silva after Foxweiser News.
The U.S. strikes back. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox News. The U.S. is responding to a drone attack by Iran on a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command says the military struck missile and drone locations along with coastal radar sites in Iran. Fox's Peter Ducey.
When you look at what he was saying today and over the last couple of days as we round up the week, it seems like he is most upset, Iran-wise, about the fact that gas prices are stubbornly high, even though oil is starting to come down a lot. The president says, obviously, this is a foolish violation of our ceasefire agreement. The Iranians have been justifying bad behavior this week by basically saying, if Israel can shoot at Hezbollah in Lebanon, then we can shoot in the Strait of Hormuz. But Secretary of State Rubio says Israel and Lebanon have now agreed today to what could be a lasting peace deal.
President Trump hosting a surprise event at the White House on Friday, highlighting a religious freedoms event, announcing a new medal to be unveiled soon. President Trump's one-time national security advisor pleading guilty to mishandling classified information.
Former National Security Advisor John Bolton pleaded guilty to a single count of illegally holding on to classified information as part of a plea deal with federal prosecutors. He is set to be sentenced on October 28th and could face as much as 5 years in prison, though the agreement with the Justice Department may help avoid any jail time. Bolton can withdraw his plea if the judge sentences him to a longer prison sentence or a fine of more than $2.25 million. Bolton was charged last year with 18 counts of retaining and disseminating classified information, including journal notes he shared with family members as he wrote a memoir. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The number of deaths from back-to-back earthquakes in Venezuela climbing to at least 920. America is listening to Fox News.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the Kennedy, downtown to O'Hare, that is just under 1 hour. The outbound Eden still looks good. Eisenhower Post Office to 390, 55 minutes. And the Stevenson to Saba Lakeshore Drive out to 355, also a 35-minute ride. Dan Ryan out at 20. It is tight in the Express, especially 35th to 51st. To Saba Lakeshore Drive has delays north and south, as does the Tri-State. We're seeing delays both directions on 355 and the Reagan. As for the Jane Addams westbound, that slows 53 to Roselle. This report is a service of the daily podcasts of Chicago's Morning Answer and The Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 61. On Saturday, expect a pleasant day with intervals of clouds and sunshine reaching a high of 77. Saturday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 63. Sunday will start with a chance of a thunderstorm in spots in the morning, then turning humid with clouds breaking for some sun and a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven. You can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted, it works, it's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE, 844-43-BIBLE.
Chicago businesses, you can't afford to be down. You don't have time to wait for IT support. You need one company that does IT well and does it right. Meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Chicago owned, Chicago run, and serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore. Access One is the trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. Access One is your one vendor for everything tech. Let's talk. Call 800-654-1555 or visit accessoneinc.com. That's accessoneinc.com. Tech made personal, locally.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Your standards can adapt to mayhem, low standard of living, political corruption, and maybe even the normalization of assassination attempts. My next guest, for 15 years, has experience as an investigative reporter. His areas of coverage include crime, politics, and finance, which means they intersect whenever we talk about American politics. He's written for the Associated Press, The Economist Intelligence Unit, Reason, and numerous other publications. Currently, he's a contributor for the Libertarian Institute and editor of Headline USA. Ken Silva, new book, the Trump assassination plots. Isn't that, I mean, it's amazing. Plots. What the investigation missed and why it matters. Ken, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Isn't it really the normalization of political assassinations that's really happened over the course of the last 10 years?
Well, that's absolutely right. I mean, when Trump was shot in Butler almost 2 years ago to the date now, I kind of thought, well, this is like the biggest story in 5 years. I'm going to latch onto it, try to be the leading reporter. And, you know, I've kind of accomplished that. I've got a book out now, as you mentioned. But what's surprising is the lack of competition and seemingly how people have forgotten about this. It's almost like, as you said, assassination attempts are normalized these days.
Well, especially when it's Donald Trump, which is fascinating, because what I love about it is when you think about it, what is the real threat of what Donald Trump is? When you listen to him talk, you could go back to the years of when George Bush Sr. talked. Similar, not the same, but similar. Ronald Reagan, absolutely similar. But what is the real threat? And I see the threat as he was never cultivated in the political climate of our gangster government. Never ran for dog catcher. I think the real fear by the body politic is that he will reveal all of the things that we've suspected for years, that it is a cabal. It's an illusion of a representative republic. And it's an insulated mafia that's immune to reality. And anybody that gets close to it that they don't like, they're going to kill. Because this kid and the investigation that happened, it's poppycock. The news propaganda, poppycock. Just because he was ugly, people forget about it. That dog hunts. And I'm curious to know what you found out about that scallywag.
Well, that's a great question. And I think when people look back at Butler, most people remember that ridiculous excuse put forward by the former Secret Service director that, oh, the roofs were too sloped, and that's why we didn't have snipers posted there, which, of course, they had to retract that. That lady later resigned in disgrace. But I think the biggest thing that people don't realize is that the Secret Service did literally nothing that day. In fact, it was a local cop from the ground who returned fire and disabled the would-be assassin Thomas Crooks. And then the Secret Service sniper, 10 whole seconds later, which is a really long time, put the final bullet through the would-be assassin. But it's the local cop was the hero of the day, and the Secret Service still won't really admit that.
Most fights last 6 seconds. Did you know that? So 10 seconds is an eternity when adrenaline is pumping and there's gunfire happening. And how many people did not know that information? Because, quite frankly, I don't remember that information. What you just revealed is something that hadn't been readily available to people who even focus on news, let alone people who don't.
And it's pretty troubling that the FBI still won't admit it, even though it's Trump's FBI. And when you think about it, presumably the shooter could have gotten off like 15, 20 more shots if not for the heroics of the local cop, who, again, he shot from the ground, an incredibly difficult shot. His name's Aaron Zalaponi. He's still a sergeant with the Butler County ESU. So I think July 13th should really be Aaron Zalaponi Day because he's the real hero of the story. And it's troubling that more people don't know his name.
And, you know, the Secret Service, to me, the real secret that I can come to a conclusion is they're in on it. When you think about the Secret Service, they were the ones that were on the plane with Epstein and Bill Clinton. They're the ones who allowed Epstein to come in. I'm just saying Epstein because the left, that's a trigger word. Epstein to come to the White House 17 different times. They're the ones who understood exactly what Bill Clinton was doing with not just Monica Lewinsky, but God knows how many other broads. So the Secret Service has been in on scandals since LBJ pretended to be a decent, upstanding citizen, let alone the links to Kennedy and the assassination there, and what Trump reveals when he releases all the Kennedy tapes. And now you got a question of the Secret Service driver of the limousine when you watch to the end of the Sabruta film. So the Secret Service may be the exact wrong entity to ever be around the president, because after all, they live with them. They're friends with them. They knew about Joe Biden. They knew about his scandalous. They knew about the son and the crack and the whores. I mean, if they were really on our side as the people, wouldn't they step in and notify us as whistleblowers to when these politicians are scum like this?
Yeah, and I can't tell you for sure that the Secret Service was in on Butler, but I can tell you that the same sniper who waited so long then lied about it after the fact, which makes it a scandal any way you slice it. He initially told Congress that he didn't see the would-be assassin Thomas Crooks until Crooks had fired all of 8 of his shots. But then we find his own notes that he wrote right after the incident. Those were later obtained by a congressional staffer, and the notes say that he saw Crooks crawling into place with a rifle before the shooting stopped. So his testimony contradicts his own notes. So either he was told to stand down and it's a huge inside job scandal, or at the very least he's lying about it to cover his own behind because he wants to be the hero of the case. But like I said, any way you slice it, it's a huge scandal.
Now, Ken Silva, admittedly, I did not read the entire book, The Trump Assassination Plots, what investigation missed and why it matters. But the excuse of that moron-looking kid and that he just didn't like the idea that Trump would win, his parents were wonderful people. I remember there being a company that was doing a lot of cell phone data around that house for many years. You could buy that data. And it was a company that bought the data. And if I remember correctly, there were some government people that had visited the Crook residence. Did you go into that arena? Admittedly, I didn't read the book, but I'm wondering if you went into that or what you found. Did you find a link between that ugly moron and the government officials in any way, shape, or form?
No confirmed link. What you're referring to is the Heritage Foundation's oversight project obtaining that geolocation data. And it did show devices going back and forth from the Crooks family household to Washington, D.C., reportedly within, a couple hundred yards of an FBI building. The significance of that is a little unclear because if you go to Washington, D.C., you're going to be within 100 yards of some sort of three-letter agency. But it's actually very troubling, the lack of transparency we've gotten on Crooks. The FBI has revealed in court that it has 75,000 records on the kid. It's only released about 200 to date, a couple dozen per month in response to a Freedom of Information lawsuit. So, at that rate, we'll all be dead by the time all of these records are released. And it does tell you that they're hiding something. Why can't they just publish them in bulk?
And then there's number 2, scumbag du jour from Hawaii, or was he really from Hawaii? Was he from Maine? Was he from Florida? But his past is directly linked to a troubling array of endless money. Because after all, I don't know if you've been to Hawaii, it's expensive. Yet he lived there and never worked. And his idea of smart homes, I didn't like that story either. And that happened right here in Florida where I am. And granted, he's convicted and the rest of it. But was that ever revealed as to how that low-life pig had the money he had? Because he lived a pretty expensive lifestyle from what I can ascertain.
Yeah, apparently he liquidated his construction business, which I don't know how successful it was in the first place. But you ask a great question because this guy's also a multiple-time serious felon when he lived in North Carolina in the mid-2000s. Somehow managed to avoid prison. He sells all his construction stuff, goes to Ukraine in 2022, and he's recruiting foreign fighters from Afghanistan and Syria to help fight the Russians. This gets him flagged to at least 7 different, I counted it, 7 different federal or international agencies. He was reported to the FBI, the CIA, DHS, Interpol, Ukraine's version of the CIA as well. He comes back, and despite this shady record, he manages to operate with impunity and prepare his assassination attempt. And he's hiding on the golf course for 11 hours before Trump was on the 5th hole. And in fact, when you look at it, Trump's golf plan was last minute. The Secret Service was informed at 2 a.m. that he's going to go golfing later that day. And according to the search warrants, Ryan Ruth showed up just after 2 a.m. He had been camping at a local truck stop. And that raises questions to me whether there was some sort of leak, like the Secret Service gets informed of this plan, and it almost coincides exactly with Ruth showing up. It really boggles the mind.
Yeah, well, you don't have to be Basil Rathbone to figure that out. But what else is shocking, if I remember correctly, he wasn't Ukrainian. He had no links to Ukraine. In fact, I myself had a lap dance once from a Ukrainian college student at the Dollhouse in 94. I have a better connection to Ukraine than he had. What was the love of Ukraine?
His political radicalization is unclear. I mean, initially he was a Donald Trump guy in 2016, later jumped on the Tulsi Gabbard bandwagon when she ran in the Democratic primaries in early 2020. And then he's got a self-published book still available on Amazon, and he just talks about, when Putin invaded Ukraine, it was just an assault on global democracy and human rights. I couldn't stand it. So he flies to Poland. He crosses the border and actually volunteers to fight, and they tell him, no, you're like a 48-year-old construction worker with no combat experience. So he turned to this shady recruitment deal, which, as I mentioned, put him on the radar of numerous agencies, which, again, raises questions about how he is able to come back to the U.S. and, operate right under law enforcement's nose without anybody noticing. Such a shady character.
Boy, is he going to be pissed off when he learns that Khrushchev and Chernenko and Brezhnev were Ukrainian. That's going to really upset him when he figures out about what Ukraine's role was in the Soviet Union. So, the whole thing is so fascinating, and the phony virtue excuses that are used to distract the American people. Now, when you wrote the book, had the third attempt happened at the press nonsense where they all make fun of each other and tell the truth for the first time ever in politics when they ridicule the press and the press ridicules them?
That's the one attempt that didn't make the book. It was already heading to the presses at the time. So, no, we didn't cover that one. At some point, you got to draw the line,
Ken, you got to make money.
My book found that the Secret Service has not been fixed at all. In fact, a lot of the people involved in the failures got promotions, bigger budgets, more agents. So, unfortunately, I can tell you there's probably going to be another drastic security failure and another attempt.
Well, it was funny because you said, and to our standards, the woman left in disgrace after the first attempt, but she didn't really leave in disgrace to the standards of saboteurs to our country. In fact, she got another promotion in private security where they make $2 million a year. And that's the other revolving door of Secret Service going into business for themselves. They go for private security. They make millions of dollars. They get stock options. And then sometimes they even come back to the Secret Service. So who in the frack is actually watching the Secret Service? What oversight does that fall under? And are they also getting their beak wet, as the phrase goes in Chicago? Because once you let everybody get their beak wet, you can do whatever you want.
Well, it's even worse than what you just said, because the same lady who resigned and did get a corporate job, she also has taxpayer-funded protection. She's got Secret Service guarding her right now, and we're paying for it, supposedly because she got death threats because people think she's in on it. But that shows you how broken the system is. And the DHS Inspector General actually released a report today about how Secret Service, they're using their personal phones overseas, and this poses cybersecurity risks. So they're still investigating all the corruption, but they're being blocked on some of the major issues, such as, intelligence sharing. There was intelligence that the Iranians were threatening Trump around the time of Butler, which you would think means there was a heightened threat posture. They should have been on their toes that day. But for some reason, the intelligence didn't get past to the actual boots on the ground. The Inspector General is still trying to investigate that now, but he's unable to get records. So it's pretty disheartening.
You know what's fascinating about that? The Iranians and the attempt and the admission. They also got caught, from what I understand, with the blueprints to his daughter's house and Jared Kushner's house in Florida. It's a fascinating reality how that just gets dropped off the information chart, or how that isn't pointed out. And when you look at how normal it is now, during the UFC fight, you see the illegal alien and his band of unlikely. Did you see those homely bastards that were going to, part of Antifa, whatever the hell they are? We're gonna send the drones in and pick off the people as they came out one by one. And what did it get? About 5 minutes of coverage? Are you amazed, as somebody who's been in this arena? You've been an investigative reporter for 15 years. At the normalizing of, yes, we just live among scumbags who are going to try to kill Trump and anybody else who runs against the system as it exists in the power structure it is. I mean, that's the real headline of all of this, isn't it?
Of course, if the shoe were on the other foot, it would be a whole nother story. I mean, you saw what happened January 6th, which I consider an exercise in democracy, was treated as the biggest scandal of our lifetimes, beamed into our homes for the next 3-4 years. And, the people who were actually killed on that day were the protesters, like Ashley Babbitt. But that was propagandized. But these, like you said, these assassination attempts, they get in and out of the news within days.
What I love about it is that I didn't know you before this. You didn't know me. Our listeners didn't know you. But you knew the evidence. And I believe through books like what you're doing and through the evidence as it lays out, history will be very harsh on America during the dark ages, which really start, you could argue, when Obama won, but specifically when they wanted you to believe that the dimwit in diapers won. And all of this evidence, all of these things, the assassination attempts, the corruption of government, the Clintons specifically. I mean, you could write volumes, encyclopedic volumes of corruption on the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation and the Obamas. I wonder, when you are doing all of this investigating, you're writing articles, you're writing it forever for history. Don't you feel the vindication will come when the generations look back on how this country devolved so rapidly and added the trillions in debt and the trillions that are being stolen? Ultimately, they're going to have to come to the conclusion that you and I first started with. Not only is the Secret Service in on it, they're all in on it. The government itself is an illusion. It is a leviathan that gives us theater where we pretend we get to vote and they never. Who tells us to vote? Saddam Hussein. So I really believe that your documenting of this, and people like you and people like our listeners who are understanding, I think history is going to be very harsh on America after Barack Obama. Don't you?
I would certainly like to think so. Some days I get discouraged, but, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. I'd do something far more profitable if I was a total nihilist. So, yeah, I think in the long run, the truth will definitely win out.
Well, if you ever want to sell out, you could always go to work for the Secret Service, cover up a few scandals, maybe some drug addicts, get yourself one of those private security jobs. In the meantime, we can buy your book, don't you think?
That's right. The Trump assassination plots, what the investigations missed and why it matters. I really appreciate you taking an interest in this subject.
No, I love it. I'm gonna order the book when we get off the line. Where do you prefer everybody buy it?
You can find it on Amazon.com. That's probably just the easiest place to find it.
Sure, and I love the idea that now, thanks to Bezos and his success, it's truly a story where his mother was 17, he had no money, he built the biggest company in the world, and he fought off the unions, which means Democrats will not touch the book as they ship it to my house. See? We can be optimistic, Ken.
All right, I like the way you talk.
Thank you very much. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
Tired of posting to your business's social media, but only your employees notice it? Meanwhile, your competitors are winning over customers by racking up thousands of views. At Myers Media, we create social media content that gets engagement and drives sales. Here's how it works. If you're in Chicagoland, we sit down with you and come up with all the ideas. Then we handle the filming, editing, and posting. You don't lift a finger. Out of town? No problem. We build the scripts, coach you through filming it on your phone. Then we take care of the editing and posting. Myers Media also does bigger projects like website videos, event filming, and paid ads that make people pick up the phone and call you. You know what makes your business special, and we know how to turn that into content that gets noticed and gets you customers. Schedule a consultation with us today at myersmedia.net. Again, that's Myers, M-E-Y-E-R-S, media.net. At Myers Media, we create social media content that gets engagement and drives sales. myersmedia.net. Let's get you noticed.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker and my new co-host,
Amy Jacobson,
on AM 560. We wanted you to know that we have a special show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on AM 560, The Answer. It is Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker and
Amy Jacobson.
It's every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. 2-hour show, 2-hour radio extravaganza. Amy, we're going to tantalize the listening public and the listening private with all kinds of retirement planning information. So tune in at AM 560 Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal, But if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit accessoneInc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's accessoneInc.com. Tech made personal, locally.
You rotate your tires to prevent wear and prolong their life.
Shouldn't you do the same with your mattress?
You can with Penny Mustard's double-sided hybrid mattresses.
Combining a steel coil spring center and specialty foam.
So they're more breathable.
More long-livable.
And flippable, too.
You know, tires and mattresses have a lot in common.
How so?
Both spend their lives under pressure. And if they wear out, you feel every bump.
Come see our selection of sophisticrafted, double-sided hybrid mattresses at Penny Mustard.
PennyMustard.com.
Rick Borick talks about the emotions of stock market investing.
At what point would you rethink your decision that you're invested in the stock market? And you'll notice that someone who answered that question 6 months ago saying, I'm not going to panic until it's down 30%, calls you up on the phone and says, it's down 8, what's going on? And I says, what happened to the 30% guy, right?
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
312-642-5600. You know, the upper echelon of these Antifa scumbags were indicted. There's arrests happening. Cartels are being shattered. Drug boats are being blown up. Winning, baby. I know you don't hear it, but we're going to tell you about it. It happens a lot in areas not led by Democrats specifically. I'll take your calls, 312-642-5600, after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. Partly cloudy and 60 overnight in the QC Kinetics newsroom. 1 confirmed dead, 5 critically hurt. After 2 boats collide on Lake Michigan, the Coast Guard said it was notified of that crash with 14 on board near Monroe Harbor around 11:45 last night. 1 person hospitalized after a large fire broke out at a high-rise on Chicago's north side on Friday morning. Several others checked out for smoke inhalation. The death toll expected to rise over 600 in Venezuela in the aftermath of 2 major earthquakes. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton pleading guilty to 1 count of illegally retaining classified information after his indictment by the DOJ.
No one is above the law, and I hope that this prosecution sends a clear message that we will vigorously investigate and prosecute individuals who violate our national security laws without fear and without favor, and we will bring wrongdoers to justice.
A sentencing date is set for October. The Cubs take on Milwaukee tonight, White Sox and Royals. The news, a service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP. Your next news update is at 7. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of your roads with Jill Urchak.
The Eden's now 25 minutes. Montrose to Lake Hook Road. Kennedy 40 minutes. Out to O'Hare from downtown. Eisenhower 45 to get to 390 from the post office. And the outbound Stevenson looks a lot better. It's a half hour out to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. 18 minutes outbound Ryan, still slowing in the express. 35th to 51st, then into Marquette. DuSable Lakeshore Drive has delays continuing north and south. Same for the Tri-State. Jane Addams westbound slowing down into Roselle. There's an accident westbound Reagan on the exit ramp to Orchard Road, and southbound 355 is still jammed. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and the Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with the low of 61. Saturday will bring pleasant weather with a mix of clouds and sunshine, reaching a high of 77. Saturday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 63. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Shaun Thompson here. Recently, someone asked me, what is it that I love most about being on AM 560 The Answer? I didn't hesitate. I love the fact that AM 560 is a family. You, the listeners, our advertisers, and all of us who are on air make up one big family in a very bad place. We look out for each other because we share the same values. And so many of our advertisers are small and medium businesses. They're owners who work very hard, they play by the rules, they pay their taxes, they make their communities even stronger. If that describes you and you own or operate a business, then I want to invite you to consider working with AM 560 to market your business. If you want to reach AM 560 family members, whether through radio, live events, or digital marketing, then call Amy O'Toole. She's a wonderful girl. She's in charge of advertising around here. Call her at 847-472-8925. That's 847-472-8925. Find out how you can become part of the AM 560 family. Together, our family can truly help make America great again.
Beloved former basketball coach and educator Satch Sullinger knows you got to keep moving to stay healthy. But that's not so easy when your aching joints won't cooperate.
We still want to move and we still want to get around and we still want to be active, but we start to deteriorate the moment we quit moving.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments help restore movement in stiff, aching knees, hips, shoulders, and back, using only your natural healing properties to help restore damaged joints. That's a huge positive for Satch.
It's working, and what I really like about it is there's nothing foreign put in my body. Everything that was put in my body has been taken from my body. I love it. I love it. Like I said, I want to live until the day I die.
Get rid of the pain and start moving again. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Old phonographs or music boxes? We are the experts. Consign yours. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
A new analysis by the Center for Immigration Studies finds that immigrant-headed households, both legal and illegal, are significantly more likely than U.S.-born households to receive means-tested anti-poverty benefits, also known as welfare. 53% of households headed by immigrants, naturalized citizens, legal residents, and illegal immigrants used one or more major welfare programs. This compares to 37% for U.S.-born households.
Huh. So, almost double. And think about this. There's 50 million. 50 million in America. Staggering. Not to mention, Squirrel, the insurance premiums. When you've got these illegal aliens who were on a burro last Thursday and you hand them a Buick, bad things happen.
2 News crews were talking with people in Springfield today, and some are actually happy about the ruling.
Let's head back out to Springfield.
Only the ones that want to be safe.
Kirsten Reedford is live there now. Kirsten, what did people say when they heard about this ruling?
Jack, Lauren, some of the people that are here saying that they wanted TPS to end said it was about time because of the strain on healthcare and education in the city.
Oh, yeah, and then there's that. Like in Chicago, in New York, in California, the cost of the illegal aliens. And then you see the Democrats. What are their answers? Well, it's kind of simple.
It's time for a national billionaires tax and a new social contract.
Squirrel, billionaires don't have a salary. They don't make money. So what this is, when he says social contract, he means breaking the American Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the principles of our country. You are now going to tax people on what they have, not what they make. You're going to tax them on their wealth, all except the Democrats. J.B. Pritzker, Penny Pritzker, Tom Pritzker, pedophile. None of them are nervous.
Governor, on the Tollway Board's proposal last week, that it would raise tolls, not just for drivers, but commercial rates would go up 30%. So companies like this are going to pay a lot more if this goes through to move materials. What can your office do to perhaps, or what might you have in mind to kind of reduce that burden that these higher tolls could kick in right when that gas tax inflator kicks back in?
Well, I want to be clear that many of the trucks, many of the cars that are traveling on our tollways are actually from out of state and going to other states. So they're actually not Illinois companies and not Illinois individuals. And so that's one of the considerations. I think
You said many. How many? Many. How many? Many. And how many Americans? How many Illinoisans? See, just say it. Just say it, Fatso. Next thing you know, they'll think you ever had a job. Or ever zipped your own pants.
Other thing to think about is we need always to be upgrading, maintaining those toll roads.
You mean like you're doing now with no workers? One giant fracking scam. Is Tom going to go with the defense? Your Honor, she didn't look like that Friday night. Rick, Desplaines.
Shaun, how you doing, buddy?
Good, babe. How are you?
I'm fine. I was calling about an earlier discussion you were having about the Haitians.
Yes.
I had a personal experience with a Haitian at work. This guy threatened my life, and I didn't take it well. So,
no. Was his name Barbecue? Because Barbecue's down there. He means it if he threatens your life. Barbecue is leading the coup, yes.
This guy was scary. I reported it. They removed him from the department, and 3 days later in another department, he was fired for the same dang thing.
Well, that's their culture. That's that DEI stuff. Don't you feel much better? It's multiculturalism. It's expensive and dangerous. You're going to love it if you survive it. I believe that's the tagline. I thought you wanted to talk about the Jake LaMotta, Tom Pritzker defense, but thank you very much, Rick. Chiming in. Dan, Salem, Wisconsin.
Shaun, you know what I think? God showed me this. Not to get religious on you, but God showed me this the other day. What's wrong with people today, their hatred and everything, and why they act so nuts, the Democrats, they forgot to be grateful, Shaun, for what we have in this country.
Yeah, well, I agree with that, but there's also, too, that self-loathingness. You know, the one quality that every communist, every Marxist, every socialist, every American Democrat has, they hate themselves. That's the only way you could subject yourself to this philosophy. They hate themselves, and they know that it will never really touch them if they sell it really hard and they represent it. They're communist, collectivist, mafia influencers.
Here's what Larry David said when he asked about he was asked about the UFC event on the White House lawn earlier this month that kicked off the 250th celebration. Watch.
It was a travesty, yeah. What else can you say about it? It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed to be an American, yeah.
So are you going to denounce your citizenship, take your money, and get the hell out of here? I mean, it's a simple solve. Or are you going to do what other Democrats do? Are you going to fund? Are you going to sell frauds who aren't just unqualified, but in some cases are proven to be whores and thieves.
We recently I actually held a demonstration for my colleagues here at the Capitol, where we brought in folks who, before our eyes, hacked election machines. Those that are being used in many states, but are not state of the art from our perspective.
And then she turned around and censored anybody who said the exact same thing. But the one thing you could say for Kamala Harris, not only was she useful to Willie Brown and some other trollops, but she could form a sentence, unlike her boss.
And Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it, Shanga Kawawa.
Welcome back. It's time for the Hot Topic Buzz. Emails revealing Hunter Biden worked with executives from a China-based company back in 2016 in hopes to find potential investors for a movie production venture. It was all happening while his father was vice president. In September of 2016, another email lays out the itinerary for a trip that Hunter was taking to China with business executives who had deep ties to the CCP. More information for us, Kaylee.
Hey, Larry David, that's your arena. Are you embarrassed? Are you offended by that? Or were you, too, backed by the Chinese Communist Party? And then you realize Larry David has a new series coming out on HBO. Watch it, and you'll play right into their hands. Watch it. Like these idiots who watch this old hag, the Viagra Slayer captain.
I'm very good friends with Larry David, and so I'm not going to. I think he's right in many ways. I mean, you listen to Trump. We used to have friends around the world. Now we don't have them anymore. So what does he?
Which friends around the world? Which ones? The ones that we bribed? Like you have friends. You bribe them. Glenn in Oak Creek, Wisconsin.
Oh, hi, Shaun. I just wanted to mention this. I had a nurse the other day, and her name was Jana, and I told her the story about the Gamma family you mentioned last week that stole hundreds of millions of dollars. And anyway, I told her the bad mamma jammas, that family, and she just cracked up. So,
good, Glenn.
Anyway,
we could use listeners. The show's got to grow, baby. I've got a very expensive lifestyle. I appreciate it.
I know, right? Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, brother. Promoting us. See, Squirrel? And the fact of the matter is, it's not just this show that's growing. It's not growing because we're doing anything other than representing the majority in this country. The majority of the people are not communists. The communists, just like every other arena, every other country, everywhere they are, they just draw the biggest sucking sound because that's what they've done. 10% of Russia prior to the Soviet Union was the communists. Look what it did for 75 plus years. Look at Havana, Cuba. Look at the Chinese communists. Nobody can shake it off except America. And the reason is, Squirrel, it's unconstitutional. You see, Gavin Newsom, what he wants to do, you can't tax people on money they made. You already made them pay taxes. You still make them pay taxes. But what that is a warning sign to get out of anywhere they govern. And the same thing with Pritzker. He doesn't give a rip about the people in Illinois who are poor, who are going to pay the extra 45 cents a toll. Every toll, an extra 45 cents. But if you voted Democrat, shut up and pay it.
And so that's what the board has been considering and why they've now voted as they have. It's something that...
What board? The board of Gatsan Gul? Was it the same board that sat on the board for Brandon Johnson? Make up 46,000 payroll recipients in one form or another in Shirakistan. And in Illinois, what other counties, aside from the 33 that already voted for secession, that would never be dumb enough, low character enough to vote for this guy? It's time to start getting offensive. Separate the counties. Convention of the states. These Republicans that are in on it, they're not going to stick up for you. They're going to run morons, like the moron running against J.B. Pritzker, Darren Bailey. Can't tell the fracking difference between the two of them. Both idiots, both trust fund babies, both sat there complacently for years. It's time for you in the counties to do exactly what the 33 counties did, and the counties all around this country. They are 12%, less than 12% of the country. Let them celebrate as they bankrupt their own areas. Let them celebrate their failure. Let them protect the illegal aliens. Let them lobby on behalf of the scoundrels and the scourge. Those are their true constituents, not the American people. Everybody who's a liability, because that's what their philosophy is, a giant liability.
We saw today the Supreme Court make a decision that is putting so many people's lives in jeopardy. And I just came back from a rally with 1199 as I stood alongside a number of Haitian New Yorkers who are concerned about what this means for their status.
Hundreds of communists will gather in Italy, joined by thousands participating online, to found a new revolutionary communist international to fight for socialist revolution across the globe. Join us. Capitalism faces its deepest ever crisis. Israel is conducting a brutal massacre of the people of Gaza with the full...
Anybody ever look at Israel? Why don't you take a look at it? Pull it up. Look at it. Beautiful. Modern, quality of life. Anybody could live there. Look around all these other theocracies. Look at Gaza. Squirrel, did you ever get where the Iranian stock exchange closed today? Or how about the Gaza Strip stock exchange? Ever? Iran, the entire GDP is 50% of what Walmart's revenue is. They exist because we give them the attention to exist, like the American socialists. 312-642-5600.
What if everything you've been told about government, healthcare, poverty, energy, and even science is a carefully constructed lie? In Shaun Thompson's new book, What If It's All a Lie? Shaun Thompson dismantles the myths at the core of modern America. This is the book the ruling class doesn't want you to read. And once you do, you won't see the world the same way again. Order your copy today at ShaunThompsonShow.com/book.
Your home or business has storm damage and you have an insurance claim.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters. Today, insurance companies are notorious for offering way too little money to repair damage to your home or commercial building due to wind, hail, tornado, floods, or fire. Crosscom works for you, not the insurance company. As licensed adjusters, Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. After they get you the fair insurance company result, Crosscom can start doing your repairs. Crosscom is a full construction and restoration company that will get your property back to its pre-loss condition, getting your life back to normal. Roof, siding, windows, doors, fire restoration, Crosscom does it all.
Call Crosscom.
Licensed in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin.
This is Dan Leitch with Crosscom. We share your conservative and Christian values. Let us handle everything. It all starts with a call.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Concerned about your retirement accounts or bank savings? Tired of stock market turbulence? Or simply curious about diversifying with precious metals? Tune into The Gold Show on AM 560, The Answer. Learn how gold and silver can help protect your financial future. Discover insights, strategies, and opportunities designed to help you make smarter decisions and guide you to more confident investing. Don't miss The Gold Show this Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
It is that time of year again to save babies by providing ultrasounds with our friends at Preborn. You know how this goes. We've done it every single year at this time. All you have to do is pick up the phone and say, I want to provide a free ultrasound to a girl. Give her the chance to see the truth of what's happening in her body. Every $28 helps do that, saving one baby. $280 can do that, help save 10 babies. More does more. The phone number is 833-850-2229. 833-850-BABY. Join us saving babies with Preborn again this year. We're going to save hundreds of babies, one at a time, 2 or 5 or 10 at a time. That phone number again is 833-850-BABY. That's 833-850-2229. Or go online to 560theanswer.com/baby.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
AM 560, The Answer.
Колбас колбасит соло, колбасер по пояс голый.
Oh, the Ukrainian lobbyists, we're going to come after you next. How much of the $300 billion did you steal? Is it all 300 or did you leave 10 on the table? When it comes to Democrats, people say, why are you advocating for more more representation, break the states up, add the states, triple the states, let's go with the counties. Because you keep your back on the ropes, you will get knocked down. Unless you're Muhammad Ali, which the Republican Party isn't. And the Democrat Marxist mafia, they never keep their back on the ropes. Congresswoman Cockeye Jayapal from Seattle, Washington. Businesses are fleeing. People are defecating on the street. What does this dizzy bimbo talk about? I said, look at me when I talk to you, Cockeye.
Congressman, before I let you go real quick, you've advocated for expanding the court from 9 to 13 seats. Is that now a conversation that is happening inside the caucus?
Absolutely. It is absolutely. I mean, look, we need a Supreme Court that is not beholden to corporate interests, to any.
Shut up, you dizzy on the take, Cockeye. Here's another Democrat, Moulton.
But on top of that, let's talk about packing the court. Let's talk about expanding it. Let's talk about what we need to do to push back against the MAGA.
Throw a wrench into everything. Challenge it all. Break the states apart. We got 50 states. Let's have 150. See what they do then. And in the meantime, if you get pulled over tonight, it's Friday, and you're celebrating, I want you to hear a legend when it comes to getting pulled over.
Please tell me why you stopping me.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Huh?
I'm about to.
What?
I'm about to tell you.
Stop sign?
No.
What stop sign, man?
I said I'm about to tell you.
Huh? You say stop sign?
No one said stop sign but you.
Why you stopping me?
You made an improper right-hand turn. When you're turning to a new road, you got to turn that closest lane, sir.
Let me get my ID out for you, partner.
I appreciate you. Can you hand me the beer?
Who?
The beer? Can you hand me the beer?
There's no beer in there.
I can see it. It's right there.
Hey, hold it. Don't be searching my car.
Oh, how much you drink tonight?
Wait a minute. I gave you my bank card, too?
No. How much you have to drink tonight?
Sir?
How much did you drink tonight?
Who?
How much did you drink tonight?
I don't really drink.
Not at all. Always stay on the offense. Legend when it comes to getting pulled over and get out of it. By the time it was over, the cop not only drove him home, he bought him a pizza on the way. We win in the end. We always do. We live in the best areas. We have the highest quality of standards for ourselves and our family. Be dragged down by these suck-ons. They're always going to be communist roaches. They don't have a philosophy. They just want to steal your money. They don't want your job, though. That's for sure. Keep your head on a swivel if you're in Shirakistan. Nobody is celebrating the 4th of July weekend yet. Those aren't firecrackers. When we get back on Monday, we're going to have a great show as always. In the meantime, let's hear from our dear, dear, dear friend and celebrate our country. Hit it, squirrel.
Is there any aspect of socialism that actually is good? Or is there any good at all? Like, again, what about Medicaid?
No.
What about?
No. So it's based in collectivism. It's based in the idea that I could take a gun to your head and take money away from others. Socialism is a creed of greed and of envy and of societal malpractice. And it violates every single one of the things that I talked about earlier of basic condition of human rights and private property and free exchange of ideas. And to that extent, socialism has been implemented over 100 times in the last 100 years, neo-Marxist socialist ideas, and the incalculable death toll speaks for itself. You have 100 million people killed in the last 100 years. There's something fundamentally troubling and wrong about that. So when they start talking about Medicaid, well, you want to talk about one of the most abused social welfare programs in the country? Okay. You want to talk about Social Security, which is bankrupt, stealing all of your earnings every single day, and that we should be able to opt out of before the age of 25, but we're not allowed to because somehow we have to pay into some Social Security fund that we're never going to see. You want to talk about Medicare, which is $120 billion a year in documented waste, fraud, and abuse. So yeah, if that's socialism, then socialism does suck. If you want to talk about socialism being the U.S. Postal Service, which is bankrupt, doesn't get stuff on time, completely and totally inept, is being outcompeted by FedEx and UPS and DHL every single day with zero government subsidies. You want to talk about socialism being so good because of the VA? Really? You want to talk about the VA? $150 billion a year. We have vets dying, waiting in line for care. That's government-run health care, isn't it? So no, you look at government, you see nothing but waste, fraud, abuse, misallocation of tax dollars. I would make an argument. I make this argument. If we abolished every social welfare program and substantially and dramatically lowered taxes, you would see an explosion of private charity and philanthropy that would more effectively and more morally take care of our citizens than all of these government welfare programs combined over the last decade. Combined. And you would see an explosion of people taking care of people.
Hello?
Sir, this is Officer Peterson. There's been a string of break-ins in the area.